Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Utility Sports. We have breaking news on a trade request. Portland guard Damian Lillard has requested a trade, and the franchise is expected to work to accommodate him, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. You guys knew when we had to go live. I was getting ready to go live anyway, and here we are, and this is exactly what I was expecting. Remember, for days now, I've been floating the potential framework of a three-team deal between the Portland Trailblazers, Philadelphia 76ers, and Los Angeles Clippers. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But right now, Damian Lillard has requested a trade, which is just absolutely insane to see. We will see Damian Lillard likely with the Philadelphia 76ers would be my early guess. At this moment in time, that would be the expectation I would have for this team, for this situation, which is crazy. It's crazy to see. Welcome to everyone here on the channel. Really glad to have each and every one of you. Crazy. Damian Lillard has requested a trade from the Portland Trailblazers. We are going to discuss that live here in just a second. I'm working on setting up the stream still. I wanted to go live early. Absolutely crazy. Portland Trailblazers are expected to trade Damian Lillard, which is a huge change of events from what most people had been talking about, and I've been absolutely nailing this. From the very beginning, I've talked about this as a potential option where Damian Lillard does ultimately force his way out of Portland with the opportunity to go to Philadelphia, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I think Damian Lillard is going to be a 76er, is what I really believe. We'll see what happens with Dame, but ultimately, this is crazy. This is really crazy. So welcome everyone to the stream. Glad to have you guys in here. Wow, what a morning. Probably for James Harden, says Deep Barnes. We're going to see something along the lines of James Harden getting traded. It won't be to Portland, though. It's going to be a three-team framework. I tweeted this a couple of days ago. I had a pretty good feeling that this was going to be what could potentially happen. And it's just crazy. It's really crazy what we've come to see now. At this point, I'm a little shocked. I'm a little shocked that it happened this quickly. But wow. Yvonne here says a 76er, you mean he's a Heat? No, I don't. I don't mean that. I mean what I said, which is I think he's going to be a Philadelphia 76er. That's 100% what I believe. I think he's going to be a Philadelphia 76er. We're going to see exactly where he goes. But Damian Lillard has requested a trade, according to sources. Let's go back over to Sham Charania here. I think he has some more information on this as well, covering Damian Lillard. Trailblazers star Damian Lillard has requested a trade out of Portland. It's finally happened. These were my expectations around Dame. Crazy. Really crazy what we've seen now at this point. As the Portland Trailblazers, after drafting Scoot Henderson, Chris Murray, and Ryan Rupert, keeping Jeremy Grant on a 5-year, $160 million deal, it's going to be tough for them to swallow that contract now that Dame's going to be out. It's going to be Jeremy Grant and the Youngins, which is going to be interesting. But Dame Dalla is going to be likely moved here in a trade, which is crazy. Very crazy to see. We'll see exactly what happens, but I think there's going to be a three-team framework with the Los Angeles Clippers, the 76ers, and the Blazers ultimately on a deal here. If my understanding of the situation is correct, which I believe it is, I think James Harden's going to be in LA. I think Dame Dalla is going to end up in Philadelphia. I know people are going to assume the Heat, maybe Brooklyn. I think those two are still possibilities. But ultimately, we'll see where he goes. But I think Harden's going to end up in LAC with the Clippers today. And I think that Damian Lillard's going to be traded as well. So we've got a lot of crazy stuff to keep our eyes on. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Glad to have you all in here. The grand contract looking like the biggest overpay this free agency. Dunn here says trade Paul George for Dame. The Blazers would not do that. Ives here says talking about the Heat for Dame. James Lee says, can they give Maxey and Tobias for Dame? So that's Harden's replacement. Can complement the duo like a winger or third star? No. They're not going to give up Maxey and Toby. They're not doing that. It's going to be centered around a bunch of different stuff. We're going to actually go ahead and show on screen now what I think a potential framework is. Actually, let's just go back. Let's go back over to Twitter because I floated on Twitter the other day too. I've been tweeting about this for quite a while. Welcome everyone to the stream. I'm going to make sure to share that I am live so that everyone can get in here for the stream. I'm live on YouTube right now. Welcome everyone to the stream. Really glad to have you guys in here. Let's go over to our profile. Let's go to media, and you guys are going to see exactly what I floated. Look, this was 15 hours ago, before anyone else had any reporting, and this was a day ago, June 30th. This was my potential trade that I think makes some pretty good sense for all sides involved. So when you see these here, these 4 picks from Portland, these are swaps, okay? These are swaps going out from Portland to those teams. So the Clippers are technically swapping the better pick with Portland in those years, and the Sixers are swapping the better pick with Portland. So Portland would have the choice between, Clippers pick or their own pick in 2027, depending on which one is better, is the one they would obviously take. This is the deal, the framework that makes sense. I think Rudy says, why not the Pacers? It's because they got their franchise point guard already. Dame Dollar to New York. I do think the Knicks have the assets to go get it. I'm just not sure if that's the player that they would target in a deal. I've been very vocal about this as well. I think the Knicks would target a different 76er other than James Harden in a trade. Chase says, why would James Harden go there to the Clippers? Because that's where he wants to be. I'm very confident in that. Curvin says, this is why Dame never going to be like Kobe Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki, Giannis. Be loyal to your franchise, says Curvin, who's a Heat fan. Now he's interested. Now, what if he comes to the Heat, Curvin? Are you going to be pretty happy about that? Man. Zach says, could LA trade D'Angelo Russell with other assets for Dame? No, they don't have enough, Zach. It's a good question, but they don't have enough to pull it off. Dustin says, Dame to Minnesota. Maybe for Karl Anthony Towns. Could we see something there? Probably not. I think that ultimately this is pretty crazy. Really crazy turn of events and something that, to be honest, I want to say I wasn't expecting, but I had this framework built 2 days ago. Had it built 2 days ago. Look at the day, June 30th. Today is now July 1st. This was at 2 a.m. I had this on June 30th. So really it's closer to 48 hours ago than anything. Damian Lillard makes a lot of sense to Philadelphia. Tobias Harris and James Harden to the Clippers. And the Sixers get Norm Powell with it as well. They get Robert Covington to kind of fill in as like a rotational 4 or 5. Mike here says, Hero Lowry expiring in picks. Let's get it done. Ryle. So let's go over here and let's look at a potential trade. We're going to go to Fanspo right now and talk about potential trade options because I do think it's worth doing, looking at a variety of options. Don't mind this Hawks Raptors trade. Let's just throw that in the garbage. Reset. Get those out of here. Let's go to the Portland Trail Blazers, who finished 13th in the Western Conference last year. This rebuild is very, very good for them, in my opinion, assuming that they trade him for picks and stuff. I think it's going to be very, very good. And let's look at the Miami Heat. What can Miami offer? Well, Hero would probably be in the deal, I'm guessing. Okay, so then we have to make up the difference here is about $18 million. So let's throw in Duncan Robinson. And look at that. We get right near the dollar amount, which is exactly what you want to see. You want to see dollar for dollar, very, very close. Then we can maybe throw in even Nikola Jovic just to get the money a little bit closer. Where's Nikola Jovic at? Not to get the money closer, but to get the value a little bit higher here. And then from there, we're going to see not the Blazers, but the Heat throw in a 2027 one and a 2029 one, and maybe a swap in 2030 where they give up the higher pick. So something like this would be the trade. So it's a swap in 2030. Blazers get the better pick. They protect least favorables protected here. And the more favorables protected for Portland. And then the 2027, 2029, and you also get Hero, Robinson, Jovic for Damian Lillard. That's kind of another package to consider, another option to consider. I don't know if I can necessarily say I love that, but it's one of those options, right? It's one of those options. Ashley here says, wow, I'm heartbroken. Good for him, though. I love Dame, and he's all I've ever known. This is the one thing for Dame. You can rationalize it and say, look, he's done everything he could do for the franchise. The Portland Trailblazers have been informed that Damian Lillard wants to trade specifically to the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat. Very interesting. He says he wants the Miami Heat. The Philadelphia 76ers are not a preferred destination for Damian Lillard. We'll see if something comes to fruition, though. Technically, he does not have a no-trade clause. So if the organization wanted to, they could trade him wherever. They could trade him to any single team in the league if they wanted to. Now, I don't know if Portland's going to do that to him, but ultimately Portland should be focused on getting their own assets, getting the top of the line. Kervin says, "No, I'm good." It looks like he's probably going to be a Miami Heat for what it's worth. We're finally seeing it. Damian Lillard requests a trade. Josh says tape for Luka and Irving. Yeah, there's no way the Mavs do that. Van Lee says, why would he go to the 76ers with a defense-first coach and only Embiid? Because they would have 2 of the top 10 players in the league. Dustin says, pair Dame with Ant-Man. I don't think the Timberwolves are a threat to go get him, to be honest. Matt Doc says he just said on Monday he didn't want to get traded. He never said that publicly. He never, ever said that. I think this was kind of obvious. Busy says, like the stream, y'all bro are cooking. Make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel for more content. Like what you're seeing here in this video, a lot of fun talking about the NBA. Subscribe to Utility Sports for more. Deep here says, I just want Dame to be a champion. Well, this is a good step in the right direction for him to be an NBA champion. Moving to Miami gives him a legitimate chance at winning a title. We'll see exactly what that means and how that pays off. But ultimately, Damian Lillard is going to be in a different setting, different situation. AJ Analysis says, let's get back up to that comment. AJ Analysis says, I am Pacific time, bro. Just woke up to this Dame trade request. Yes, pretty crazy, right? Phone's blowing up. Damian Lillard's requested a trade. Absolutely ridiculous to see. Rudy the Boxer says, I would not trade a player under contract to the team of his choice. You don't have to. They technically don't have to, but I think that they are going to do well by him. Ryan here says, still can't believe he actually did it. Happy for him. Wayne says, why would I want Maxey? The Blazers wouldn't want Maxey. Sunset says Dame will go to the Sixers. That's what his prediction is. I think the Sixers have a more compelling offer probably. Jordan McCann says, you think the Heat are willing to give up Hero for Dame? I feel like they may try to work around that. Yeah, good luck with that. The Blazers are going to want a lot of stuff for Damian Lillard. They're not just going to give him away for free. So Anthony says, yo, heading to work shortly. Wanted to wish a great live stream and all praise for your work, my brother. Have a great day, fellas. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Glad to have you in here. Anthony, thank you. G1BG4B says, do you see them keeping Hero? Or are they more likely to flip him? I would probably be a flip where Hero maybe gets sent to a third team or they keep him. Fuzzy Simpleton says, worst day for Twitter to have issues. Yeah, no kidding. Luckily, we have the information coming through a bit here. Let's head back over to Twitter and get that pulled up right now so that you guys can see the tweet. Remember, this was my proposed trade here. Damian Lillard to the 76ers, Harden to the Clippers, bunch of stuff and picks to the Blazers. We'll see if something like that comes to fruition or not. But right now, the expectation, here it is. The Heat, Clippers, and 76ers are 3 teams that will have interest in exploring trades for Damian Lillard. Sources tell ESPN the Blazers are expected to value deals that would bring them back young players and draft assets. Again, remember, I flaunted out that 3-team trade. Shams here is saying the Portland Trailblazers have been informed that Damian Lillard wants to trade specifically to the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat. Multiple sources tell The Athletic and Stadium, which is very interesting. And I want to go back to mine here from a couple days ago, my potential framework. Probably right here. There it is. Floated this a day and a half ago. Go follow us on Twitter for high-level analysis and predictions, I guess, because that was pretty intuitive. The possibility of a Damian Lillard trade to Philadelphia as the James Harden news was breaking. I think that was pretty ahead of my time. Max Hill says, about time, let's go. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Michigan here says, anybody else's Twitter messing up? Yeah, Twitter's having a tough day today. We'll see if they get it done or not. Zach says, what about the Lakers? Lakers are not going to be able to get Damian Lillard. I just do not see that as a possibility. I just don't think that that's going to end up working ultimately. Let's go back over to Woj. Remember, the Heat, Clippers, and 76ers are the 3 teams most likely to land Damian Lillard at this point in time, it sounds like. We'll have to keep our eyes on it. Basement Dweller says he specifically requested Eastern Conference. What about Atlanta? He requested the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat, supposedly. Now, again, the Blazers do not have to abide by that. They can trade him wherever. Max Hill says Scoot Henderson is superstar. That's his team. Scoot's going to put up numbers this year. Scoot's going to have a really great season, I think. It's going to be, there's going to be some ups and downs they're going to lose, but he's going to have a good individual year. Patrick says Portland shouldn't just send him where Dame wants. They should send him to the best package of assets. 100% agree. They have to do that, in my opinion. Max says, love your videos. Thank you, Max. Appreciate that. Ricky, has to be a 3-team trade. Del Blazers interested in Hero. We could see Hero flip somewhere. So if Hero were to go somewhere else, that's the situation in which they maybe do maximize their assets. Peter wants to know if it's a 3-team trade. I think that's the most likely situation. Bortzi says Butler for Lillard straight up. No way. There's no way the Portland Trail Blazers do that. Max says, I appreciate your grind. JW says Blazers GM is trash. We will end up trading him for a weak package. Watch and mark my words. We'll see what happens, JW, but we'll come back to that. Lights Camera Cooper here says I sent you a trade on Twitter. Make sure to go give us a follow over on Twitter. Jalen here says man predicted the future. Braden says I agree. This is the most likely trade. I think Portland would prioritize Bones more than Man. Interesting. I don't know if that's the truth, but make sure you guys go give us a follow over on Twitter. Shout out to Raxi for the follow too on Twitter. Not sure where you sent me a trade. Jake Fisher reports have heard pretty consistently that the Sixers have no interest in putting Tyrese Maxey in any trade conversations. Let's get Jake Fisher pulled up on the stream. Jake Fisher, let's get him pulled up on the stream. This is his latest reporting. Have heard pretty consistently that the Sixers have no interest in putting Tyrese Maxey in any trade conversations, including a potential pursuit for Dame Lillard. Philadelphia and other teams are of the belief that the Miami Heat are Lillard's preferred destination. Ultimately, though, it does not matter if the Heat are the preferred destination. They can trade him wherever. Thank you, Skirmish, for tagging me in this so we can find it. That always is very helpful. Shout out to Riley and shout out to Return of the Bad Boys for the follow over on Twitter. And again, remember, this is what I floated a day and a half ago as a potential 3-team deal. Damian Lillard, Norm Powell, Robert Covington, and going to Philadelphia. Tobias Harris, Harden to the Clippers, and the Blazers get 3 first-round picks unprotected. They get 4 pick swaps. They get a collection of young players, a first-round pick in this year's past draft of Kobe Brown. We'll see exactly what happens. Detroit, 3rd team here, says Brian Kohler for Hero. I don't know if I see that. Carter here says, I really think Minnesota could get Dame, give up Cat and some picks. So the Timberwolves can't trade any picks. They could trade swaps, which is partially why I don't think that actually gets done. DC says, you just don't like the Hawks, do you? No, I don't have anything against the Hawks. Vasily Micic is joining the Thunder on a 3-year, $23.5 million deal. Wow. 2-time EuroLeague champion and an MVP. Crazy. So he's going to be going to the Thunder now. Jared says, can you check my trade in Discord? I want it to happen. We can maybe check the Discord. Let's see what we got going on in there. Make sure you guys all join the Discord too. I'm live on the channel right now, and the Discord is a really great place to be. So I'm going to send a couple of links right here. I want you guys to go follow on all of those links. I'm about to send them in right now. It's our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and then also our Discord. Go join all of those things. Go follow us on all of those. Would love to see you guys in there for all of those things. I'm going to send that again too, because for some reason it hates when I send all of the links together. So there's the Discord link again itself. So make sure to go follow. Re-Up says he literally said he only wants to go to Miami. Okay, he doesn't have a no trade clause. Like, I don't care. Maybe he gets to Miami because Portland tries to do well by him, but they could trade him to any team. They could trade him literally anywhere they wanted. They could trade him to OKC. They could trade him to Minnesota. They could trade him to they could trade him to Los Angeles, to the Lakers. They could trade him wherever if they want to. They don't have to abide by him by any means. That would be good if Damian Lillard is traded today to the Miami Heat. Who would they trade for Damian Lillard? Let's go ahead and take a look at some other potential options. For Damian Lillard, we're going to go ahead and pop over to Fanspo yet again to look at a potential trade here between the Miami Heat and Portland Trailblazers. Something like this. I'm going to actually snapshot this quick so that I can share this on Twitter. Very interesting here. Very, very interesting that we're seeing something along the lines of Dame and just Dame and probably James Harden getting traded in the same day is pretty crazy. I don't know why Twitter's being so terrible today. It's a huge bummer. But welcome everyone to stream. Robert says, if I'm the Heat, I'd rather get James Harden on an expiring contract for 1 year. I don't know about that. Big Flippa wants to know, can he still stay or not? No, I think he's out of Portland. Mr. Vanessy says, Omer Yurt, Nikola Jovic, Jaime, future picks. Best scenarios, they want youth. And picks, don't think they want Hero, to be honest. Please come to South Beach. We're probably going to see something. We're probably going to see a collection of young players going out the door, but I think Hero is probably going to be involved. Basketball Seiko says, as per Shams, Lillard wants to be traded specifically to Miami. Ned says, a little late on the join. Dame trade going to be interesting. Welcome, Ned, back to the stream today. Thunder Bucket says, thoughts of Cody Williams being drafted by OKC next year. It would be cool if they got Jalen's brother. We'll see. Jack says, dude, please no, I don't want Hero and PDX. Don't worry, listen to me here. It's not the end of the world if something like this comes to fruition, because ultimately, like what this will likely turn into is Team 3, someone who wants Tyler Hero jumping in. Could that be Brooklyn? Brooklyn's a team that actually makes some significant sense as a Tyler Hero landing spot. So let's go back over here now. We're going to reroute Tyler Hero to the Nets. We're going to send Ben Simmons to the Blazers with this. And we're going to accommodate the Nets by sending Yusuf Nurkic. Let's send Nurkic to the Nets. So that's 43 for 37. We need to send back $6 million. So let's send Cam Thomas to the Blazers, and let's send someone else. Let's send Edmund Sumner, or no, let's send Day'Ron Sharp. That'll be perfect. Send Day'Ron Sharp to the Blazers, and we're also going to send a bunch of picks. So this first round pick, this is a swap. Let's trade this one to the Blazers. Let's trade this one to the Blazers, and let's trade 2029 Dallas first to the Blazers. So ultimately, they're getting off of Ben Simmons' contract. They're using 3 firsts to get a deal done. But this is one of the best ways that we could see Portland getting a collection of assets, collection of pieces here. I'm going to snapshot this one as well. I'm going to share all of these on Twitter. So make sure you guys go give us a follow over there on Twitter. Huge shout out to everyone. 1,300 people watching. You guys are all awesome. We're talking about Damian Lillard trade requests. I know a lot of Blazers fans are sad. He started a riot saying Ben Simmons to the Blazers. Listen. The reason Ben Simmons is in here, it's for the money to match with Tyler Hero, and it's so that they can get these extra picks instead of taking on Hero. They get 3 first-round picks. Trust me, Ben Simmons isn't value here. In fact, you're getting an extra pick probably for Ben Simmons. So it's not like I'm sitting here saying, oh, this is a huge win for the Blazers getting Simmons. They're eating his contract and using their salaries to match to get these extra assets. Okay, Blazers fans, this is the best way to get extra draft compensation is if you take in Ben Simmons. Like it really is the best way. And then this is like hinging on the idea that the Nets would even want. This is hinging on the idea that the Nets would even want Tyler Hero, which I don't know if they do. But I'm just saying like that's a possibility that we could consider. Connor here says, oh, Cam Johnson. So Cam Johnson just got signed, so he can't be traded. It'd have to be like shifted to a sign and trade, which is just not going to happen. I don't know if Dame's going to be going to the Nets. I just don't know if I believe that. Let's go ahead and tweet some of these out. Some possible Dame to Miami trades. First one requires Portland to want Hero. Second one requires Brooklyn giving up extra picks to get off of Ben Simmons. Because people don't understand that. I'm not saying Ben Simmons is super valuable in this, but people don't really understand how that works. So I understand. Let's get those in there and let's tweet that out. Very, very possible. We'll see what exactly happens. Shout out to Lucas with the 20. Says Portland needs small forward and center. Portland wants OG Anunoby. Trade with Miami and Toronto. Portland receives Martin Adebayo, OG Anunoby, and 2 first picks. Miami receives Lillard and Nurkic. Toronto receives hero and 2 first. Lucas, first of all, appreciate the 20, but that's too much value. Adebayo is not getting traded. The Miami Heat are not going to trade. They're not going to trade Adebayo. Here we have a question. Idea here says, I don't want to see Dame with no other team besides the Clippers. Alan Walker says the anticipation's killing me. Aniket says, do a Clippers trade. Ultimately, I think the Clippers are going to get James Harden. I don't think the Clippers are going to get Dame. Black Toad says, how is he able to be on Twitter? I don't know. Are you guys trying to use desktop or are you just using mobile? Because desktop's working for me. Mobile was being a little bit more difficult. So, dude, people never understand this. People don't understand how swaps work at all. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Glad to have you all in here. 1,300 people watching. We have another donation here from Cherry Reaper Gaming with the 7. Says the only trade that makes sense is Toronto for OG, Thad, and Boucher for Lillard. I don't know if I see that. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I think getting a lot of other stuff from other teams is probably best for their long-term rebuild, long-term retooling, which is ultimately what I expect them to do anyway. A lot of crazy trades going on. We'll see exactly what happens. But remember, I've been ahead of this the whole time. For days and days, I've been floating this as a potential deal of Damian Lillard getting traded to Philadelphia, going from the Northwest to the Northeast of the United States. Let's float a couple of teams because I think a lot of people want to know about other squads. They want to know about New York. They want to know about a few others as well. How can I tweet Twitter's down? It's working for me, so I don't know, but we're making it work. Carlos says, you get a like, bro. Sad day in Portland. Carlos is a huge Blazers fan. Carlos, I'm feeling it for you, but this is going to be good for them long term. Danny Lee says, let's take a look at a Knicks trade for Damian Lillard. So let's head back over to Fanspo right now, and we're going to talk about some potential trades there. In fact, I'm going to start a new Fanspo because I want to keep some of those other trade ideas pulled up. Here we go. Here's our fresh, brand new one. Let's go to the Portland Trail Blazers. Let's go over to a team that we want to trade him to here, the New York Knicks. The Knicks have the assets. The question is, do they view Damian Lillard and Jalen Brunson as a winning combination? Send RJ Barrett out the door, and in addition to that, we're going to also likely send out Obi Toppin in this deal, and we need to make up $15 million more. We're going to send out Evan Fournier's contract in this trade as well. That's kind of the beginning point. Maybe Jericho Sims gets dealt in this too. I think the Blazers would definitely have interest in Sims, who was a former high-end recruit out of Minnesota, ended up playing for a couple of years at the University of Texas. And to go along with this, we're going to send out maybe Nasir Little back to the Knicks. And don't worry, we're going to throw in a lot of draft compensation though. Blazers. That's 4 first-round picks in next year's draft. We're going to send 2025 first and a 2027 first. That's 6 first-round picks and a collection of young pieces for Damian Lillard. Probably the highest value you can maybe get out there. Them or Brooklyn. The Nets have a lot of assets that they could trade as well. This is massive compensation for the Blazers to trade their franchise guy in Damian Lillard. But ultimately, it would probably be worth it to get this collection of pieces and young players back. Shout out to everyone who's following over on Twitter. Really do appreciate you guys. Make sure to go give us a follow over on Twitter. We go a long way in helping support the channel by doing that. Really appreciate you guys. I'm going to send the link to that in the comment section down below. Massive amount of assets going back from the Knicks here in this possible deal. Dame, I don't know if Dame wants to play with if Dame wants to play with them or not. Cherry here as well with the 3 says, we the North, we the Cheeks. Well, thank you, Cherry, for another 3. Really appreciate that. The donations go a long way. Preston says, I'm disappointed. Dame should have did this before getting the front office to sign Jeremy Grant to that ridiculous contract. Now that hurt us to the point where he can't do anything big. I'm all in for Scoot. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Jeremy Grant contract is going to be really, really bad now. I'm gonna actually tweet that out right now. So and that contract is pretty bad. I just tweeted that out. Make sure to go give us a follow over on Twitter. Ray here says do a Mavs trade. They just don't have anything to actually get it done. So I want to focus mostly on the other situations that are more likely. I think the Knicks do have what it takes to get into it. I just don't know if they're the actual team that's going to do it. A lot of people think that he's going to be a Miami Heat, and I think that's a legitimate option at this point. We're going to talk about what that would theoretically look like here. Let's pull this trade up. This is a 3-team trade where the Nets would give up some assets to get off of Simmons and turn that into Tyler Hero and Yusuf Nurkic. The Nets get better. The Heat get better. The Blazers get a collection of young pieces in Nikola Jovic, Cam Thomas, Day'Ron Sharpe. They eat the salary of 2 contracts in Ben Simmons and Duncan Robinson. And then they get a collection of picks. They get 5 first-round picks and a swap in here as well. So massive compensation going back out the door in this situation. Patrick says Sheldon King Grant and Portland still back out of the agreed deal. It hasn't been signed yet. Technically, they could because it is moratorium. But again, if the Portland Trailblazers do that, you're probably screwing an agent over a little bit after money's already been spent in free agency. It's not good for relations to do that to an agent and a player. And because of that, it's going to be kind of a tough situation for them. If they back out of it, it's going to leave a lasting impression on how they're going to handle free agency business, even though I completely understand why they would do it. Fame here says Daryl Morey will get Dame in the end, but it will definitely take a third team involvement. And let's show what that third team is. It's actually the Los Angeles Clippers. Together, I've been floating this for days. Okay, I'm going to share this again now. I've been floating this for days. Damian Lillard to the Sixers with Norm Powell, Robert Covington, Tobias Harris, and James Harden to the Clippers. The money here works out. The Sixers stay in that same ballpark. The Clippers actually shave off a little bit of money, taking in 2 massive expirings. And the Blazers get Marcus Morris's contract, Batum's contract. Maybe they could flip that to a 4th team in this. Terrence Mann is the headline young player. But they get a collection of other good, intriguing young players. Amir Coffey, who I think no one really knows who Amir Coffey is. This guy can play. He's very, very good. Kobe Brown, pick 30 in this year's draft. He can play as well. He's a solid shooter from the perimeter. BJ Boston, Jason Preston, 2 intriguing players. Preston could be a really nice backup point guard for Portland. BJ Boston has some real shot-making upside off the wing. I think he would be an intriguing fit next to Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons. And then you also look at the fact that they're getting 3 unprotected first-round picks in 2028, 2029, and 2030, as well as they're getting 4 pick swaps in this deal as well. So they're getting a ton of assets. Huge shout out to Aquarian for the mention over on Twitter. But this is a big possible deal. Brian said only Miami yell. That's it. Well, the thing is, like, he doesn't have a no trade clause. This isn't the Bradley Beal situation. It just isn't. Here are the comments saying Harden being a Clipper is interesting. Yeah, I think that's what's ultimately going to happen. Remember, I floated this nearly 2 days ago as a potential option. I'm very, very happy to see now that my kind of intuition, my gut instinct on this was pretty correct. Wayne says, do that trade. Talking about this one here. Nedge says, I already know Woj trade bomb for the Mavs is going to happen when my Twitter is not working. Also with Lucas and Cherries for their dono from earlier. Yeah, shout out to Lucas and Cherry for the donations. Really appreciate that again. Maine says, I personally think the Celtics would be a dark horse pick to get Lillard. I understand if he wants to go to Miami, but if Boston wants to get rid of JB's contract, they will. Portland does need a small forward too. We'll talk about Boston maybe. I'm not sure if I necessarily see that, but we'll talk about them. Let's go over to Fanspo here. We're going to start another trade here, and it's going to be to a different dark horse team that I think would be a team to potentially watch for here. The Blazers are going to have a ton of suitors, and I think one of them might be the team with the worst record in the Western Conference last year, the San Antonio Spurs. They have cap space. They don't need to send back a big collection of assets or of money. They could send Devontae Graham, and if they needed to include some young players, Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, those could be some guys that are valued here for Portland as young players. Malachi Branham, former first-round pick. Same with Blake Wesley. Those are valuable young players, okay? Those are players that the team could get behind as options, okay? We're looking here now at a pretty massive amount of money coming into the door to San Antonio, which is good because they can afford it. This also opens up a little bit of cap flexibility. And then what we would see here is a massive collection of draft assets going back to Portland. One that I think the Spurs could ultimately justify by making this, collection of asset trade type of situation where a ton of picks are going out the door. You could see something crazy big like this, 5 first-round picks, 2 good young players, something pretty insane for Damian Lillard. But, overall, like for San Antonio, if you want to try and make a push with Victor Wembanyama and get to the playoffs right away, Damian Lillard is going to be the player that helps you get there. Marcus says, Shelburne says Dame is mentioning San Antonio. Definitely playing alongside Victor Wembanyama would be crazy for him. It would be absolutely unreal. Brandon says Blazers have to do right by him and trade him to Miami. It's only right. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think the best thing to do is to make the trade that benefits your team the most. Honestly, you want to do the romantic thing and, we're going to make sure Dame's all happy and taking Dame's requesting a trade. Trade him wherever you want to trade him. Trade him for what you're getting the best package for. Don't just help him out. Maybe they do, but I think that's a mistake. Eden says, what's a Jazz trade? I don't know if there's a Jazz trade to be had. That would be pretty surprising to me. Aniket says, found your stream today, going to be a regular for me. Glad to have you in here. Really appreciate that. Comment here says Boston shouldn't be counted out. I understand with Jaylen Brown that could be something to monitor. Charles here says, Woj just said Sixers in Portland in close talks. I have not seen that myself. Let's go back over to the Twitter now. We're going to go check on everything going on over there. If you guys have any questions about where I could potentially see him going, feel free to answer that. Thank you, Aquarian, for the nice comment or nice mention there on Twitter. Shout out to Christian for the follow. Shout out to Aquarian for the follow. Shout out to J Ray, as well as Courtside, Leon, King Lucha, Ricky, Steven. Thank you guys for the follows, and Mitchell. Make sure if you guys go follow us on Twitter right now, I will shout you out on stream. So I'm going to send this into the chat right now. I'm going to give you a shout out if you go follow us over on Twitter. Make sure to go do that right now. But yes, Damian Lillard requested a trade today. Mike says, how can the Bucks get into this action if not Dame, then Hero, originally from Milwaukee? I don't see a way for the Bucks to get in on it. Preston says, I hope Bradley can bring some defense out of him because he plays none. Yeah, that's going to be the big question. I think the nice thing about Spoelstra is the zone defense he runs would definitely help with that a little bit. Jennifer wants to know what's happened on Twitter. Can't retrieve. So Twitter is having some mobile issues right now, I believe. So you might have to use desktop today, but that's something to watch for sure. We got some people hitting the follow button. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Bumpty here for the follow. Shout out to Karen for the follow, as well as Super Cyan J and Christian again. Huge thank you to everyone who's hitting the follow button right now. Saber says, Dame to Miami, please. Jose Batista says, Brian, no, they are. The Knicks make a lot of sense. The Bulls do, the Nets do. I don't know if the Bulls make sense. I don't really believe the Bulls make sense for Damian Lillard. Because I just don't think it makes sense for Portland to get anything from them. Carter here wants to know about a Minnesota trade. It would be centered around Karl Anthony Towns. It would probably be nearly 1-for-1. Cat for Dame. Minnesota probably throws in another piece or two. See here, this is on Micic. Not what we have to worry about right now with the Dame news. The Dame news is the top of the line here. Colin Grant wants to know about a Clippers trade. I don't know if I see Damian Lillard going to the Clippers. What I think is most likely is seeing Damian Lillard get traded to Philadelphia and James Harden going back to the Clippers. That's the most likely situation. Jackson Hayes to the Lakers was a pretty good signing today. I like that quite a bit. Patrick here says Twitter's API is also having problems because Rambox isn't pulling either. Yeah, Twitter's having a tough day. Lucas here with the 20. Thank you very much, Lucas. Says Portland goes for a rebuild, needs small forward and center, whether young players, it's 2 free agency, trying OG Anunoby. Now I think they're going to try, don't rule out Toronto, who lost Van Vliet, and OG wants to leave Toronto. So you're kind of floating like a Portland getting OG Anunoby and maybe picks for Dame. I don't know if I see that. It's an interesting team to watch for, I think, but I don't know. I think Dame, if I had to bet right now, it would be what my gut's been telling me for 2 days, that he's going to be a Philadelphia 76er. Kyle here says no, it wouldn't happen, but a Bucks trade would be crazy. It would be insane if you went to Milwaukee. Miami has nothing to offer. They've got Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero might be valuable to other teams. He's not going to Miami. LOL. Heat fans are going to be so sick. Can't wait. Work for what you want says, give me one scenario when a superstar gets traded to a team he doesn't want to go to. Please, just one. Kyrie Irving did not say that he wanted to be a Dallas Maverick. You don't think Kyrie Irving preferred the Lakers? There you go. That's one scenario. And also, here we go. This is funny. Here we go. This is another thing. I'm going to put this up on stream because this is a funny situation. Remember when Kyrie Irving asked out of Cleveland, and these were his reported preferences from Brian Windhorst, who covered the Cavaliers. He wanted the Spurs, Heat, Timberwolves, and Knicks. Those were his 4 requests, and he got traded to the Celtics. Okay, don't sit here and say that it doesn't happen. Players can get traded. Kawhi Leonard wanted to go to Los Angeles and got traded to Toronto. Okay. Players don't actually have that much say if they don't have a no trade clause. Okay. Like it happens all the time. Kawhi Leonard didn't want the Raptors. Thank you. Like Kyrie Irving didn't want the Celtics. He ended up being a Celtic. Okay. Right here says Damian Lillard to Paul George in 2020. Keep switching teams, running from the grind. You boys is chumps. Damian Lillard in 2023. Switching teams, running from the grind. That's funny. Fabian here says Dallas was on Kyrie's list. No. Dallas, no, he was not. BS Express says Dame is going to Miami, so the only question is for what? I'm not sure about that. Chris Brett says, how is everyone's Twitter working, but not mine? Try and desktop. Go give it a try and desktop. The Celtics trade, exactly. People don't understand how this all works, okay? Players get traded wherever the team wants to trade them at the end of the day. The players don't have that much say in a trade. They have say in free agency. They have a lot of say in a lot of other things. But Mark, thank you for the follow over here. And the Jeremy Grant one is not good at all. Jalen wants to know how he's going to impact the Thunder. It's a nice addition. He gets them closer to the salary cap floor, might even get them to it, I think. And then all in all, he's just a good player. So he's going to help them quite a bit. He's been very successful over in the Euro League. So he's a nice piece to have for them. And I think he's going to complement that roster fairly well, actually. Man, just a reminder here. Here's some potential Damian Lillard trades to the Miami Heat that I floated over on Twitter. Let's zoom out of this a little bit. In this situation, the Blazers would get Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, and 2 firsts and a swap. The Heat would get Damian Lillard. And in the second offer, this is pretty much like the best thing Miami can offer other than, maybe including Jaime Jaquez too. The second one here, people are going to freak out because they don't know what's going on. Ben Simmons is in this to make the money work for facilitating Tyler Hero to Brooklyn. It would be Hero and Nurkic to Brooklyn. The Heat get Damian Lillard. And then the Blazers get Simmons as a salary dump. They get Robinson as a salary dump. They get Jovic, Cam Thomas, Day'Ron Sharpe. Firsts in 2025, 2027, and 2029 from Brooklyn. And then those 2 firsts from Miami, and then the swap again in 2030. So very similar packages in terms of what Philly's giving up, or in terms of what, not Philly, excuse me, what Miami's giving up. But ultimately, instead of Hero going to Portland, he gets rerouted to the Nets immediately, which I think is a possibility. It happens more than you think. There's not a lot of stars that just force where they want to go. Remember the Spurs traded DeJounte Murray to where they felt like they could get the best value for him. They were between Minnesota and Atlanta. Okay. Like the only time Kevin Durant got traded to the team he wanted to go to. Okay. So did Bradley Beal with a no trade clause. Okay. That's twice. Okay. It's not like it's that crazy. SP says the team you don't want is the one you'll win a championship with. Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. Peach says any moves or signings after you streamed yesterday. So Jackson Hayes, probably the most notable one going to the Lakers. Also, Halliburton signed his rookie max extension, which was a no-brainer. Rizaldi here says he's going to the Lakers for reason D'Lo. No, that's not happening. Prince says, can you explain why role players are getting paid so much? It's because teams are trying to win, and role players go a long way in winning. Shaggy Squid here says Cronin has a track record of sending players to where they want to go. Norm Powell to the Clippers. CJ to New Orleans. McCollum didn't want to go to New Orleans. McCollum did not want New Orleans at all. That's not true. So I would not just trust that. McCollum was not interested in going to New Orleans before he got there. I don't think he's mad that he's there now, but he did not want New Orleans. I 100% know that he did not want that. Stars go where they want in free agency, and stars go where they want when they have a no trade clause. Triple H here says bienvenido a Miami. I like that one, Triple H. Preston here says then they have Nurkic, Dame, and Jimmy. BS Express says since the Jeremy Grant contract isn't official until July 6th, do the Blazers cancel it? I don't know. Theoretically, they could. They very much could, but I just don't know if I think that's what they should do. So we'll see. Zadrian here says Damian Lillard for D'Angelo Russell. EJ says he's good friends with Bam. That's why Miami is his first option. Yes. Here's the thing. You can acknowledge that it's his first option. I think that's the team we've talked about the most. It makes sense as an option for him, but they don't have to abide by him. Here's a trade to Indiana. Heel, Tice, Jackson, Nemhard, and a bunch of draft picks. That's funny. Thank you for sending that to me, Corey Norris. I just I don't think I can see it. I just don't know if I see it at all, to be honest. I think that they're very content with Halliburton in the direction that they're going. Andrew here says Jaylen Brown plus 4 second-round picks plus Grant Williams sign and trade for Lillard and a minimum player. That's not a terrible framework. It's probably really, really good. One here says, I disagree. Certain players do have ability to dictate location. It depends on what type of relationship they have with front office. Dame will end up on a team he prefers. They won't do him like that. So here's the thing. Usually this is what we call pre-agency, where a player gets to decide where he wants to go because he's like, oh, he's got, a year left on his deal. Like, right? I mean, Dame's got 2 full years on his contract yet. Okay. Like, I don't know. I think people are a little overreacting to that. I think, if a team wants Dame and they're giving a good offer, the Blazers have every right to accept whatever they want to. Jerry Reed says, Dame, I want to go to Miami, Portland, Jim. You're going to Philadelphia. Like, this is a possibility. And I don't think people should just say, oh, well, one track mind. Do you really think Portland's not calling every team right now? Do you really think Portland's saying, oh, yes, Dame, we're going to trade you to only the team you want to go? No. If anything, if they're going to trade him to Miami, they're going to leverage every other team to get there. Okay, they're going to get every single thing they can out of Miami by at least saying that they're going to try and trade him to Philly or Brooklyn or wherever, because they can trade him wherever they want to. They can trade him to any team. They don't have to just trade him one place. Jordan here, thanks for the follow. Max, thanks for the follow. Brandon, thanks for the follow. John, thank you as well for the follow over on Twitter. Twitter is growing real nice, 1,100 followers. Huge shout out to you guys for that. Make sure we subscribe to the channel here on YouTube as well. Absolutely crazy. We have 1,400 people watching. Super excited. DeJounte Murray's not a superstar. Okay, yeah, he's a star. Okay, he was an all-star level player. He got traded to wherever the Spurs wanted to trade him. Ray here says, so what outlandish thing was Windhorst time out Cleveland? I think that was kind of referring to potentially Darius Garland. Rudy says, Pacers trade Paul George to Oklahoma City. That coward wanted to go to California. Exactly. Yeah, Rudy gets it. Rudy understands. Players get traded to wherever the team wants to trade them. That's another great example of that. Like, if it happens to be Miami, that means that the Blazers got enough compensation to justify it. But it's not like they're just going to trade him to Miami for fun. Scuba here says, I respect your grind, man. I've been following you on YouTube for about 1.5 years now. Appreciate the shout out for following you on Twitter earlier. Respect. Shout out to you, Steve. Thanks for being a loyal viewer and everything. Really appreciate it. Corey says CJ most definitely wanted to be in New Orleans. No, he did not. He did not want to be in New Orleans before the trade. He did not have interest in being in New Orleans before being traded. I 100% guarantee that. I don't think he's mad to be there now. In fact, I think he actually likes Portland now. Or I think he actually likes New Orleans now. But he did not want to be a Pelican. So that's just the truth. Mike Garcia says, yes, CJ was okay with New Orleans. Get the facts. No, he was not. He was. It's not his preference. Like, again, the comment was saying that was where he preferred to go. That's literally just not true. I 100% guarantee you that isn't the truth. If you asked him for every NBA city where he'd prefer to play, you really think New Orleans was the first spot? You think Zion Williamson wanted New Orleans? I mean, come on. Let's be honest here. Kyle's saying here, the NBA is a business at the end of the day. Teams have to do what's best for them. Day here says Harden for Dame. Ultimately, that's the package that I've floated a bunch of times for the last couple of days. Shout out to Alex for the follow over on Twitter as well. Man, this Jeremy Grant deal is really bad. Really, really bad. 5 years, $160 million. I don't know. There was a question on there about if they can turn that into a sign and trade. I don't know who would want to bring that in as a sign and trade. Just really don't know. Let's go over to our profile here and go back down to the trade that I floated here the other day. Let's take a look at it now. Damian Lillard to the 76ers in a pretty mega deal. Dame to the Sixers with Norm Powell, Robert Covington. The Clippers get Tobias Harris, James Harden. Blazers get Marcus Morris and Batum for contract sakes. They get Terrence Mann as a young player, Amir Coffey, Kobe Brown, Brandon Boston, Jason Preston, collection of young players. And then they also get a bunch of picks, 3 unprotected firsts and 4 swaps, which is pretty massive. That's more than the Nets got for Kevin Durant, honestly. Peach Duranzo says, is free agency going on now, or does it start again at 6? And by what I meant by that's more than what the Nets got in terms of draft compensation. The Nets got, Mikal Bridges, so it's pretty different. Edge14 says, y'all do realize that it's the Blazers' decision where he goes. He's going to end up on any team, although most of them are very unlikely, even if he asks for Miami. Yeah, here's the thing, is I'm not saying he doesn't get traded to Miami. I'm just saying, you guys are acting like there's, handcuffs on Portland that they can only trade him to one place. That isn't true. That is not true at all. Hobbs here says the Blazers will go for the best trade and not what Dame wants. And the thing is, here's the thing. I'm going to say this. If Miami's offer is here and another team's offer is here, Portland might do the Miami offer anyway to help out Dame. But it's not going to be like this. If the offers are like this, they're not taking the Miami one. Okay? To be very clear. I hope everyone's seeing what I'm doing here. If the offers are like this, they still might take the Miami one to help Dame out, if that's where he wants to go truthfully. If it's like this, they're not doing that. They're not just taking a crappy offer to take a crappy offer. I promise you. Patrick here says, can we hear about the Golden State Warriors a little bit and not all Damian Lillard? I think the Warriors are a good team. I think they're going to be a championship equity type of team this year. They have a legitimate chance at winning the title. I think Chris Paul's a very interesting fit as a backup point guard for them. I'm excited to see them play. Now, I'm not sure if I love their overall situation, but Willie here, thanks for the follow on Twitter. Huge shout out to John as well for following. Really appreciate you guys. There could be a 4-team deal. There could be a 5-team deal. Something along those lines. There's a lot of options out there that realistically could play themselves out. There's a collection of teams that make sense for Damian Lillard. Should we look at a Boston Celtics trade? Is that something we want to do? Alex says you're overestimating the competence of Portland's front office. I mean, maybe. Maybe I am. Official here says, can you do a trade for Cat and Dame? Portland needs a big. Portland's not really worried about their individual team building right now. Another team that I would like to talk about here a little bit. Let's go back to the trade machine. There's a couple of teams I want to float as options. So first of all, I'm going to save this one. I'm going to snapshot that. Let's download that one. I'm going to also snapshot this one. I want to have all of these pulled up as potential options so I can just post them on Twitter. And then that way we've got some options. Potential Dame trades to San Antonio and New York Knicks. I'm going to post these on Twitter quick, and then that way we can keep rolling with our NBA, with our other trade coverage. That way I've got these all documented and registered all over the place. So we can go back and look at a couple of other options. So let's get back to it here now. We're going to mock up a new trade. Let's go back and let's close out of this. Let's reset this. We're going to send to Boston here. We're going to send Portland. We're going to send Portland Jaylen Brown. We're going to send Damian Lillard to the Boston Celtics. Now, again, this is something I don't know if I would do if I was Boston, because you're getting, and you might say, well, that's crazy. You're getting 6 years older. That's kind of a questionable thing when you have, otherwise, like, look at Porzingis, Tatum, Brown. They're 26, 27, 25. Like, those are all good, solid young players all in a row. So, it's a pretty interesting thing, a pretty interesting situation to watch for. But ultimately, we're gonna see what happens here. We're gonna center around Jaylen Brown here. The issue is getting the money close enough to actually work here. Could be like Horford and Pritchard to make the money work. This is probably Brogdon would be the piece actually that goes, which means we need some more money going back over to Boston. We'd probably see something along the lines of Nasir Little to the Celtics for money purposes, and we're pretty close here. Throw in some minimum contract. Keon Johnson, maybe, I don't know. But something along the lines of this. Maybe Brogdon gets rerouted somewhere. But then we're also going to see some picks from Boston, 2024 first, and we're going to throw that 2024 second in there as well. Maybe this is a potential framework where this is maybe the best player the Blazers can get current existing player in Jaylen Brown, who is very, very, very good. Jaylen Brown is an all-NBA player, well worth paying. He would fit really well next to Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons. I don't absolutely hate that. For the Blazers, I don't think I would do this if I was the Celtics, even though like I 100% acknowledge, like, yes, Damian Lillard makes them a better team right now. Maybe it pushes them closer to a title. I don't know if I could be the GM that does that breaks up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I just don't feel good about it. Makes me feel sick to my stomach if I'm Boston, to be honest. I just don't know if I could see them doing that. Like, I just think that's a lot to give up. Giving up Jaylen Brown is just kind of rough, I think. But it's a potential pathway. I just don't think I like it. It's just another toxic situation. I don't know. I don't feel great. Shout out to AJ Analysis. Make sure you guys go follow on Twitter. Song says, we got Scoot, and Scoot we trust. I 100% believe that. I think this is perfect for Scoot Henderson. Scoot's going to have a great rookie year. I think he's going to do a lot of great stuff. Song says, Scoot Rookie of the Year plus 360. Don't take that bet. He's probably not going to win Rookie of the Year. I would be very, very shocked to see that. Can the grant agreement be turned into a sign and trade? Theoretically, it could, but you're going to need a team to want to take that on. Shout out to Doug here. Thank you, Doug, for being in here again today. Says the Pistons have the assets to trade for Grant, but that contract is so crazy. They were interested in Grant, but it's like buying an electric car. You can't afford to do that. If you're Detroit, you can't afford to take in Jeremy Grant on that deal. I just think that would be terrible. Jerry says it wouldn't be straight up Harden for Dame. It would be a 3-team trade. Is there a better package than New York? The Nets have a very good package as well, which is what we're going to look at here now, too. Let's go ahead and adjust this trade. Let's go take a look at Brooklyn. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Glad to have you all in here, by the way, all 1,100 of you people. And it really hinges around Ben Simmons' contract, plus the inclusion of some young pieces. Cam Thomas, Day'Ron Sharpe, Edmund Sumner. If you're going to look at the money, look at that. The money is nearly perfect. Nearly a perfect match between the two. The Nets also signed Dennis Smith Jr. today, so shout out to that. I'm glad to see him in Brooklyn. He'd be a good backup point guard behind Damian Lillard. And in this deal, we'd probably see the Nets give up a crap ton of assets. What I'm talking here is Phoenix 2025 first, 2027 first, 2027 first, 2028 first. We'd see a 2029 first go out the door. Another 2029 first. Like, they've got a massive collection of stuff. 6 first-round picks here in a deal for Damian Lillard, something that's pretty massive and honestly just holistically pretty crazy. So, Simmons is a negative value asset. That's why there's 6 first-round picks in here. They're giving up extra assets to get off of Simmons. Okay, I'm looking at Simmons here solely from the perspective of matching money. The Nets would probably be a contender with Damian Lillard, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton. I think that all of those things check out pretty well, honestly. Specta here says Ayton to Portland, Harden to Phoenix, Dame to Philly. Somehow, I just don't know if the teams have enough to get Portland to buy into that, which is partially why I've preferred the Clippers, because the Clippers can offer more draft picks. Kyle says Dame's time to rob the Brooklyn Bank on the way there. This is a lot to pay for Damian Lillard, but the part of it is they're not giving up any of their really existing core. They're giving up, yes, Cam Thomas, a young player, pretty interesting. No, Simmons is a salary dump. I always have to include that because everyone otherwise thinks I'm stupid. So they can't just imagine like Simmons is in there just to make the money work. So tweet that one out. Dame to Brooklyn. Not Too Fam says, Heat fan here, always been a fan of your channel. Can't believe we're going to land Dame. We'll see what happens with that. Appreciate you in here, Not Too Fam. Shout out to Delio in here. Keys to Wisdom says, Portland is a cesspool. Who would sign Grant to that deal without having Lillard on board with it all ahead of time? Worst free agency move in history. It's a bad one. It's very, very bad. Central Power says, what is the worst Damian Lillard trade you think the Blazers would accept? The one with the Miami Heat, where it's Tyler Hero plus Nikola Jovic plus Duncan Robinson plus 2 firsts and a swap. Like, that's probably the worst possible trade. Yo says that's way too much. Like, here's the thing, though. Like, if you look at Brooklyn, what player are they giving up that plays a lot in this? Nothing. They're adding Damian Lillard to their core already. That was the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Like, Damian Lillard is exactly what the Nets are missing on their team. Put Dame on OKC. I don't think that's happening. Min here says, best YouTuber ever. Well, appreciate that, Min. Really appreciate that. Doug Davis says, as a lifelong Portland Trail Blazers fan, I just want him to win a championship. Hopefully he can win one. Metal Slug here says, Ben Simmons traded for Crumble Cookie. Yeah, we're taking Tobias Harris now. GT's Entertainment says, love watching your channel grow, bro. Been here for a couple of years now. Shout out to you, GTs. Really do appreciate that. Let's see how many likes we're at on the stream so far. 173 likes. That's not bad, but we got 1,100 people watching, guys. Come on. Go smash the like button right now. That way I know I'm doing a decent job here talking about these trades. I feel like I'm covering a lot of different news, discussing a lot of different possibilities. We're talking about all 30 NBA teams here, which is why at this point I want to go to talk about another team and one that maybe wouldn't jump off the page right away as a potential landing spot. And it's not the Miami Heat. It's a different team in Florida, the Orlando Magic. And do they have what it takes to go get him? We're going to start with Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac to get the money relatively close. We're going to then include from there, we could include Chuma Okeke to get the money a little bit tighter. And then we could also throw in Bol as an intriguing like upside player. Whatever you think about him, whatever. It's not the end of the world if you don't love him, because you can understandably justify why not to, right? And then we'll throw in Goga Bitadze as well to get the money to where it needs to be. And then the Magic give up 1, 2, 3 first-round picks in this deal as well. Something along the lines of this. Former number 1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz, Bol, Goga Bitadze, Chuma Okeke, Jonathan Isaac, 3 first-round picks for Damian Lillard. There's no super bad contract in here. Markelle Fultz is a very good player. Maybe he could get rerouted somewhere. Let's actually go back and adjust. I think the Magic would probably have to throw in one more first. Let's do a 2030. Or what's the last one we're giving up? 2025, I think, right? Or 2026. Let's send a 2028 lottery protected trade to the Blazers. Something like this. I'm interested to see what you guys think about that. I'm sure a lot of people don't consider Orlando as a potential Dame spot. I actually think it makes sense for what they need. I'm interested to know what everyone thinks about Dame to Orlando. It's an interesting landing spot. I don't think it's going to happen, to be completely frank with you, but I just wanted to float it. Orlando has to give up Franz and Wendell at least. Yeah, that's not going to happen then. Orlando's not doing that then. Dame to the Magic is lateral move, no chance of a championship. I don't know. I think like with Paulo and Franz and some of the guys that they have there, like the size. Mel says Sheldon's the only one covering the NBA, the NBA, right? So hit the like. You guys heard Mel. Hit the like button. If I'm Orlando, I'm doing that trade in a heartbeat. That's what I think too. Zachary here says Dallas will bail out Portland, take on Grant in a sign and trade. Oh my gosh. Like Zach saying that actually makes some legitimate sense. Brendan here sent me a tweet somewhere in the Kings universe where they do something dumb, and it's De'Aaron Fox for Damian Lillard. That's kind of funny. I like that one. Not actually. It's pretty bad. Prince here says, is the new CBA the reason why some teams are overpaying certain players? Partially. We'll talk about that in a future video. Project NBA says, I love the idea of Dame in Brooklyn. Icy Dem says, shout out Utility Sports. Reef Chief says, bro, can we not even give this trade attention? Come on, just stop. Don't float if it's 1% possibility. I mean, like right now, it's just talking about the options. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just stay laser focused on 2 teams, Philadelphia and Miami, because those are likely the 2 teams. Like, I've been live for an hour and 5 minutes. I'm going to talk about some of the other teams too, because people want to know. Danny says, will Dame trade for 76ers, Heat, and Knicks? Knicks, I think, are a small possibility. Jay Musa says, I'm just waiting for the Reeves re-signing for real. Ray says, what's with these bad returns? Dame's a top 10 to 15 player who's still in his prime and top 50 all the time. You got to give up more than Bol and Duncan Robinson. Well, you're just not valuing draft picks, I guess. You do realize that the best player the Thunder got for Paul George was a rookie year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, obviously, Shai's developed and turned into a fantastic player, but rookie year Shai averaged 12 points a game. Okay, so, like, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how you can say that. Like, it's all about draft picks. Okay, it's all about draft picks. Duncan Robinson's career points per game is 11. So that gives you an idea of what Shai Gilgeous did as like a production standpoint as a rookie. Ben says, good morning, Sheldon. Welcome to the stream, Ben. Glad to have you in here. Bryce Cooper, welcome to the stream as well. Legacy said, what would the Raptors give up? I don't see the Raptors as a legit landing spot. True Sports Live says the Jazz don't make any more sense than the Spurs and Magic. I don't know. It's hard for me to see them like all of a sudden pivoting from, hey, we wanted to collect assets and do everything from a long-term perspective to all of a sudden we're going to push all of our chips in. The Spurs had like a pretty massive change to their organization, getting Victor Wembanyama, and the Magic have a really like fleshed out young collection of talent that I think is a little bit deeper because they've been rebuilding for a little bit longer than the Jazz. Like the Jazz a year or two from now, I think would make more sense. Preacher says, I disagree with James Harden for Dame. Firstly, Harden has 1 year of his contract, so he can leave to win a championship because Portland's definitely not ready. Also, James is not good for rebuild. Yeah, like, we're not going to see James. Like, here's the thing. It's going to be a 3-team deal. Let me get this back up there because there's a lot of questions. If Dame and Harden are included in the same trade, it's going to be a 3-teamer where the Sixers get Dame, the Clippers or Team X, maybe the Suns, but I think it's the Clippers, get James Harden, and the Blazers get all the stuff. Like, if you're picking in the late 20s, that means you have a chance at winning the title. The Heat had pick 18 this year and made it to the finals, for what it's worth. Brady says, what's good? Not sure if you've talked about it yet. Jackson Hayes to the Lakers, Micic to the Thunder, and Sasha Vezenkov to the Kings. Pretty solid for all those teams. I like Hayes to the Lakers. Micic is a really big get for the Thunder. I wasn't sure if he was ever going to come over. And Vezenkov, last offseason, I talked about that as a possibility after they acquired his rights that he can come over a year from now. And that's now that's the time. Nate, thank you. Thank you for that. Everyone, I think on YouTube, you guys can zoom in if you want to zoom in on the profile picture for the guy that's calling me a loser. Knowledge Untamed says, if you ran the Chicago Bulls, how would you make them competitors? I would trade everybody, but I don't run them, so they're not going to do that. Portland doesn't have to move him before the season if they don't get a real good package. He's inked and under their control. I'm tired of these players doing this, really. Yeah, they don't have to, but I'm guessing they will because I'm sure, like, internally they're probably excited about the idea of Scoot Henderson being the long-term starting point guard of the organization. Not reporting this, just speculative, but I'm fairly certain. I'm typing this on Twitter, by the way, so that's why I'm sounding dumb. But I'm fairly certain that internally the Blazers are quite happy to see the Scoot Henderson as their long-term franchise point guard. Like, I would be. If I had Scoot Henderson as my long-term franchise point guard, I'd be very, very happy. For Eva says, Dame to the Heat, obviously. I mean, if it was obvious, it'd be done by now. So, I don't know. Unfinished DIY says, zero chance to not to pay 3 first to turn Simmons into hero. Nurk is a bad contract as well here. Yeah, but his isn't a bad contract to the tune of $40 million next, over, like, on average the next 2 seasons. So, like, hero would help them. They basically turn a guy who doesn't play in Ben Simmons into 2 rotation players. Like, part of getting Nurkic unfinished would be the fact that Nurkic is a rebounder, and that's something the Nets suck at, is rebounding. Cool Genuine Phil says, don't see Brad Stevens making 4th of July fireworks, trade Dame for Brown. I don't think so either, ultimately. Scoot's a first overall pick in most drafts. I 100% agree with that. He'd be first overall in this next draft. So I think that they're quite happy to have him being the starter, and they got him 3rd overall. Like, he's going to be the starting point guard. Brandon S. says, do you have any ideas on what Detroit is going to do? Their moves past Ausar don't seem to make any kind of sense this offseason. Without some moves, we're going to be the worst defense in the league this year. No, I think that they make sense. They're lining up for cap space next season. If there's a player they want to go get, we'll see. But they're also giving a little bit of time for their young guys to develop and getting some veterans in the building. It makes sense. Danny here says James Harden to the Los Angeles Clippers. That's what I expect. Ray here says, yeah, I know. I meant Portland would be picking in the 20s. This should serve as a lesson to the Mavs to trade Luka before stuff really hits the fan. Hope it doesn't come to that. I see what you're saying, Ray. I see. I misread your situation. I thought you were talking about like Orlando's ceiling was not like high enough. I understand your comment now. My apologies. Pretty Boy Nick says, do you think Micic will play in the Thunder Summer League? I'm not sure. I don't think he would, to be honest. Mel, your thoughts of losing Strus and Vincent affect the Heat going forward? Well, it depends on what happens with Dame here. Yesterday, I said the fact that they're letting these guys leave points to a potential Dame move. Like, it makes some sense from that perspective. Make sure you guys go follow on Twitter. Link is in the comment section right now. Just sent it in there. So make sure you go give us a follow over there. I'll be shouting out everyone who hits that follow button. John Porter says Dame to the Bucks. I don't think that's going to happen. Caleb Hall says, do you think the Thunder will get a big name or just keep building out the young group? They're going to keep building the young team. Is Trey Jones a better prospect than Scoot? Definitely not. Scoot's phenomenally better. Pretty Boy Nick says, also, what's your thoughts on him, starter or 6th man? If you're talking about Micic, probably an off-the-bench player to start. But I don't. If he ends up playing like in the starting lineup, I wouldn't be like shocked by that either because he's good. Justin May here says, how do you feel about Rockets getting Fred? It was an overpay, but makes them better. Definitely makes them better. Leon here says, thanks for the shout out on Twitter. Would the Sixers have to give up Maxey? I think so. Leon, that's a great question. I don't think so. I think Maxey's going to be in Philadelphia next year for sure. I would 100% guarantee that, actually. Mark here says, Clay Kuminga first for Dame Dalla and Nurkic. I can't see it. I can't see it. TLGS Services, I wouldn't give up the Spurs' future of 2 years of Dame, but I can only hope that they get involved as a 3rd team and come away with something. That'll be interesting. We'll see. Basement Dweller says Dame to Boston. I think someone needs to pull the trigger on breaking up Tatum and Brown. If another team could break up Tatum and Brown, they definitely should, because Tatum and Brown are very, very good. Peach says, why are the Thunder and Kings giving $20 million players to who have never been in an NBA game? Because they've played basketball before. Like, I know this is a really widespread misconception. Like, when you talk about draft players and you talk about like overseas guys, like, yes, I know they haven't played an NBA game. I know most of the normal NBA fans haven't seen them. These executives have watched them play. They know who they are. They've played basketball. Norrin here says, I'm a little late. What's up, Sheldon? Glad you're in here. Hope you're refreshed from yesterday. Looks like a lot going on. So who gets traded first, Harden or Lillard? My assumption right now is they get traded simultaneously in the same deal. Mark says, after free agency, you need a vacation. Great job. Appreciate that, Mark. Doing my best here to cover everything. Sergio wants to know if I think the Rockets get Dylan Brooks. I do. I think that's ultimately where he lands. Mel says, what do you think for San Antonio's next move? Still holding on to cap space. Why? I think they're just waiting to see if they can, at the end of the day, like before the season starts, they could sign any one player to a 1-year deal for like $20 million. Like, they can use their cap space whenever. They're just gonna wait it out, see if they can use their cap space to get more assets. Like, they're gonna try and sell cap space, which is valuable. Big J, welcome to the stream. Says, "Sup, can my Wizards play the 3rd team role in the trade? We got a wide variety of players, picks, and cap space." They definitely could. They've been working the phones more than anyone this offseason. So, like, theoretically, yes, they 100% could. Brennan here says, Sasha's a professional ball player, league MVP. We got a good deal. I 100% agree with that. Charles Schaefer here says, Spurs trading Wemby for Dame would be an awful trade for the Spurs. Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to trade Wembanyama. He's untouchable. Rockets get Dylan Brooks. That's what I'm expecting at this point. Eberent here says, anyone but Jimmy and Bam is on the table for Dame, obviously. Yeah, but I don't know, like they don't have picks to send to, like really. So they have 2 picks and swaps that they can send basically. Do you think Atlanta gets involved with anything soon? Potentially something on Siakam. John Blue says, did that Duarte trade ever happen? Yes, it did. But we don't have the compensation yet at this point. Wow, holy cow. This is partially why people are having issues on Twitter, which I think I should show, because I think there's some questions about it right now. Let's go over to Twitter. Let's go to Jake Fisher quick. To address extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation, we've applied the following temporary limits. Verified accounts are limited to reading 6,000 posts a day, unverified accounts to 600 posts a day, new unverified accounts to 300 a day. So that might be the reason why Twitter's not working for you guys right now, which means we're gonna have to be pretty careful. We're not gonna do a lot of scrolling on our Twitter here. We're just gonna sit on our profile so that way we don't get permalocked for a little bit here. Mel says, are you surprised with the money being doled out? And this is without the new TV deal. Yikes. It's a lot of money going out, but new TV deal is going to come in at some point. Ray says, if I'm Portland, I'm demanding Bam. Or not even picking up the phone. That's probably what you'd want to push for. Keys to wisdom. The first year of the new money is just like last time it went up. Bad spending everywhere. Steven says, what's going on with the Orlando Magic? At this point, they're sitting pat. Siakam in Atlanta would make them surpass the plan. I mean, I'd hope so. AJ Analysis says, according to my sources, the Philadelphia 76ers are gaining huge momentum in a Damian Lillard trade. This is something I've been reporting for 2 days. So, Sheeta here says, Jazz trade Jordan Clarkson plus 3 first-round picks to Portland for Dame Lillard. I don't know. I just really don't see. I just don't see Utah doing it. Chris says Twitter is tripping. Yeah, limit on posts you can read. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Trying to stop people from seeing the hordes of immigrants attacking everybody. I don't know anything that's going on with that. So, keeping it a Benji says, I sound so silly. Well, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Gio here says, Thomas Bryant to Miami. Chili here says, any reason why Wiseman is trending? Twitter won't let me click on it. Any reason why Wiseman is trending Twitter? I don't think so. I don't think there's like a legit reason why. They're going to send him where he wants to go, which is Miami Clown. Okay. You can think that. I mean, if he goes somewhere else, then what are you going to say? Who's going to be the clown? Are you going to go buy the face paint then? Like, you're going to probably need it. If he gets sent somewhere else, keeping it a Benji, I want you to come in here and publicly apologize. What's the biggest move that surprised you so far in free agency? I think Strus to Cleveland was pretty surprising to me. I know there was like reports on it, but I just wasn't expecting like that type of money. Shout out to Jeff here for the follow. Really appreciate that. Shout out to in 49 other states for the follow. Make sure you guys go give us a follow over on Twitter. Here we have a deal. Free agent Thomas Bryant has agreed on a 2-year, $5.4 million deal with the Miami Heat. Player option the second year. So basically your standard minimum contract. Minimum contract with a player option. So definitely important to note that we saw now for Woj reporting that Thomas Bryant has agreed on a 2-year, $5.4 million deal. Here's the link to our Twitter. Go give us a follow over there. All 967 of you awesome people. Clarkson's trending on Twitter. People are floating like Clarkson to people are floating Clarkson to for Dame, basically, in terms of money. Jay Bands, anything is possible in this same trade. Anybody could get him if they're thirsty enough. A lot of teams could. I wouldn't say anybody, but a lot of teams could. YouTube clips, he's on the Miami Heat already. Pat Riley is your answer. Okay, well, we'll wait and see. Like, you do realize the Miami Heat have significantly less to offer than a lot of these other teams, right? Like, so ultimately, if another team just comes in from the top rope, they could basically go get him. BP says underdog fantasy even faster than Woj. That's funny. Ray here says, so when is the Blazers garage sale starting? Mavs could really use or rarely use Matisse Thybulle. He'd be interesting for them. We'll see. The notorious JP says, I love how people can't make a point without name dropping. Portland is going to trade Dame to the place that lands them the best package. Yeah, like they're going to trade him. Like the only reason they'll trade him to Miami is if the packages are close and Dame says he prefers Miami. Like if Miami's offering slightly less than the other teams, but Dame says, hey, please trade me here, they'll do it. If the gap's this big, they're not going to make that trade. Okay, very, very clearly. Thomas Bryant's a solid backup center. Finally, no Zeller minutes. I see a lot of people happy about that. Ryan here says Portland can't trade future first until they make the playoffs to the Chicago protection. They'll be looking to get some talent that could at least give them a chance at the play. They're not worried about trading future first. In fact, they want their own picks. They're going to be really, really bad. Van Strife says, people act just because Dame wants Miami, it's 100% happening. It's such a naive mindset. Yeah, I know. The real ones understand that, though. Like, you guys in here understand how that works. Like, people can come in and call me a clown and say I'm stupid. Like, what you think if the Miami Heat offer a sandwich and a bag of Doritos that the Trailblazers are taking that for Damian Lillard? Like, you can want him, but it doesn't just because Shams Charania said, oh, well, he'd prefer the Miami Heat. It's not like all of a sudden the Portland Trailblazers are saying, yes, sir, whatever you want, Dame. Riley Duvall, thank you for the follow. Thank you to Bankai as well for the follow over on Twitter. Make sure to give us a follow over on Twitter. Van Strife says also Dame doesn't have a no trade clause like Beal, so people got to stop comparing them. 110%. The Beal situation is something that we've just very rarely seen in the NBA. Brown to the Pacers, the best free agent move. I think it was very, very good for them. James says, so if the Trailblazers don't accommodate Dame, no star will want to be there long term. That's not true at all. That is definitely not true. In no way, shape, or form is that true. In fact, San Antonio didn't accommodate Kawhi, and Victor Wembanyama is very happy to be in San Antonio. And the thing is, like, Damian Lillard might even view San Antonio as a good option. Like, that's just not how it works. The Celtics didn't accommodate Kyrie Irving. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are very happy to be in Boston. And Kristaps Porzingis, who, maybe he's not a superstar, he's a star. He's happy to be in Boston. Brendan says, doing right by Dame will only go so far if compensation isn't good. Awit says, how can Woj tweet if the Twitter's down? It's because he's Adrian Wojnarowski. He has 5 million followers. Twitter's going to make sure that his stuff's working. I am that I am, says Houston straight. Work for what you want. The real ones know that Portland is working with Dame to accommodate his request. Like, yeah, they probably are, but they're not going to just trade him for a bologna sandwich and Cool Ranch Doritos, okay? Like, you got to understand that. And, like, I don't know. If you've looked at the other things that Brooklyn, New York, Boston, all these other teams can offer, like, just realistically, it's what it is. It's significantly less. Miami doesn't have the same things to offer. They just don't. So they're going to probably need a third team to value Tyler Hero, which is going to be a difficult thing to get. Sean here, thanks for the follow over on Twitter. Really appreciate you. Jam Play says, Bronny to the Cavs next year plus LeBron ends his career in the land. We'll see what happens with that. I'm very fascinated to see where LeBron ends up going next offseason. King Ty says, Grizz need to go after Kelly Oubre. That's all we're really missing right now. Kelly Oubre is not the final piece to a championship team. Kelly Oubre probably is a player that his stats look really good, and him on the court doesn't impact winning as much. Steven here says, which team has the most cap space currently? I believe it's the San Antonio Spurs with the the Rockets in second. Notorious JP says Miami was supposedly getting Mitchell last year too. Delusional people think teams are giving the Heat their stars for scraps. Not happening. Remember, like Mitchell was supposed to go because he loves Dwayne. He's going to be the next Dwayne Wade. Now he's in Cleveland. That's the other thing. Talking about stars who want to get places. Mitchell wanted to be in New York. He said that openly on Woj's podcast after the whole deal went down. He's now in Cleveland. Willie Davis says James Harden just needs to be traded to the Clippers now. I think that's going to ultimately happen at some point today or in the next couple of days. Diaz says, do you think all key free agent talks have paused and everyone's waiting on Dame trade to finish? No, not necessarily. What do you think Tyler Hero is? If Tyler Hero is so good, why are the Miami Heat trading him? Like, I don't know. Philly P says maybe Cool Ranch Doritos. Hey, Cool Ranch Doritos are darn good. I love those. If you threw those into a deal for me, it'd probably move the needle just a little bit. I also think they've already done right by him by giving him that huge contract. Yeah, I mean, they spent over a decade together. It's not like, I mean, what else do the Blazers owe Dame? Like, and like you could argue here, like, is Dame? Here's the thing. For some reason, this is now a one-sided street. Damian Lillard requests a trade. Portland wanted to keep Damian Lillard. Do you think the Portland Trailblazers are like, oh, yes, Dame, now that you are doing something we don't want you to do, we're going to be super happy to help you out with it? Like, again, I'm not saying that they hate each other, and I'm sure that the Blazers would like to help Damian Lillard, but it has to, and this is the important part, it has to make sense for Portland compared to the other offers. They are not going to take significantly less from Miami just because it's the freaking Miami Heat, okay? You understand me? It needs to be very clear, okay? They're not just going to trade him to Miami because Dame said, oh, I like Miami. Who cares, okay? It has to make sense. There has to be a good amount of assets and pieces coming back. Thank you, John, for the follow over on Twitter. Really do appreciate that. Jay Carl says, hey, is anybody else getting the rate limit exceeded message on Twitter? So that's something to do with the whole Elon Musk situation right now, that they put a little bit of a cap on how many pieces can go. Anthony Black signed his contract, by the way, so now there's a recently drafted restriction. He can't be traded for 30 days, in case you were curious about that. Vezenkov made a tough decision to leave his team and join the Kings. Definitely good for them, though. Chris Haynes tweeted, supposedly. Let's go over to Chris Haynes. We're going to go take a look at that. Where is Chris Haynes? I don't have him on here. Chris Haynes. With that, Miami and Brooklyn are preferred destination, sources say. Like, again, like, so here's the thing too about Miami is like, oh, what if he just likes Brooklyn? Like, what if he wants to go play with Nick Claxton and Mikal Bridges? Then what? Honestly, like, I don't really have like too much of a say in where Miami in what, like, I don't really care too much is what I'm trying to say in where Damian Lillard goes. I'm excited to watch him play next year. But like, I kind of hope now at this point that he doesn't get traded to Miami. So we'll see. Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, Jovic, Lowry, etc. plus multiple. You know the money. Here's the funny thing. He's saying that we don't know anything here. The money doesn't work on that. Keeping it a Benji, that financially is illegal based on NBA trade rules. So go into the trade machine, try and find something. And then maybe start from there. Be a little bit more accurate with your comments, especially when you're telling people that they don't know what they're talking about when you're wrong. Pack Drip says, are you going to NBA Summer League? Not this year. I went last year. I was going to, but I decided not to. Work for what you want, says Rockets got peanuts for Harden when he went to Brooklyn. Portland will get a crumble cookie. Dude, the Rockets got all of the picks from Brooklyn. Brooklyn also gave up Karis LeVert and Jared Allen. Okay. I wouldn't say they got peanuts when you get all of the picks and swaps and everything for James Harden. I would not call that peanuts. Sean Smith says, considering it's Canada Day and all, what would it look like if the Raptors were involved? It would have to be centered around like the contract of probably OG Anunoby, but I just don't know what's going to happen with that. C-Dub says, any chance the Lakers land Dame? Absolutely not. Danny Lewis says, will Bronny James to the Hawks next year if LeBron go to retire? I'm not sure. It really depends on where Bronny gets drafted. We're a year away from the draft, so I don't know. Zam says, hero to the Knicks, Raptors, Magic, Kings, Jazz, or Spurs. All possible options. All of them make some level of sense. Mr. Rudy says, I thought Dame didn't want to be in a super team. Honestly, don't get why Miami's an option if he's true to his word. I'm not sure either, to be honest, but I think, to me, if I was an NBA player, I'd love to go live in Miami. Awesome city, super nice, warm, great weather, great place to be. Brendan says, breaking news, Sacramento Kings trade Sheldon of Utility Sports to the Shanghai Tigers for 6 bags of Cool Ranch Doritos. Sheldon barred from having any, I'm missing the last part of that comment there, but I'm sure it was really, really good. But now they trade all the Cool Ranch Doritos for me, so that's a huge loss for me. I was hoping to play with them, but now I'm in Shanghai, I guess. Charles here says, slave that delusional Heat fan. They would have to trade Max and Gabe, but they left. Pat Riley makes me depressed. He doesn't want to give up Martin. He wants to build a package around Hero. Norman Rad says, smash the like button, and we also got Meep Hype in the chat. Make sure to leave some Meep Hype down in there. Let's check how many subs we're at today now. We've gone up 66 subs since I started, which I think we can do better than that, guys. Go hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more content here at Utility Sports. We are at 265 likes in the stream. I've got 8 Heat fans who are not happy with me, but it's okay. Smash that like button, guys. Fraser Kid here says you clearly sound like you don't want him to go to the Heat. It didn't take a Chris Haynes tweet to come to that conclusion. I mean, like, here's the thing. This is Fraser. Here we go. I'm going to send something in the chat right now, and I want you guys to tell me what you would take. Heat offer, 2 firsts, 2 swaps, Hero, Jovic. Okay? This is their offer. Nets offer. 4 firsts, 2 swaps, Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons. Let's actually make that, we're going to make that 5 first because I think that's actually more realistic. Tell me which offer you're taking. Are you taking 2 firsts, 2 swaps, Hero and Jovic? Or are you taking 5 firsts, 2 swaps, Cam Thomas and Ben Simmons? Those are the offers. Those are what offers are going to look like. That's literally the max that Miami can offer, basically. 2 firsts, 2 swaps, Hero, Jovic. Here's the thing. You guys act like I'm hating on the Heat. The Miami Heat don't have the same stuff to offer. They don't. Okay? Look at this. Nets offer. People are taking the Nets offer. I mean, that's the situation. Like, do you think Portland just shuts off their mind? They turn off the little switch here and say, "Oh, Damian Lillard said Miami, so we're not talking with any other team." Yeah, okay. Good luck with that. Good luck. I'm not saying he won't be a Miami Heat. I'm not saying he won't be, but I'm saying that the offers are going to have to be close. So if some team just blows out Miami's offer, it's not like the Blazers are going to sit there and say, "Oh my God, we don't know what to do now because we want to do Dame the right thing." No, that's not how it goes. Austin, the one thing about Ben Simmons, I understand, whatever, big salary. He's only got 2 years left. Next year it becomes an expiring contract. So, and for the situation Portland's in, if he plays, he fits their team actually. And if he doesn't play, then, well, who cares? It's a big contract. No one cares. Alan Walker says Miami's not a super team. Adding Dame will make them one. But Brooklyn is a preferred destination as well. I think it's only Brooklyn and Miami. I, again, do not agree with that. I do not agree with that. But, here's the thing. Let's now compare those offers, okay? The Miami offer and the Brooklyn offer. And let's go over to this one right here. This is the, again, trade I floated a few days ago. Would you take that Nets offer with Simmons in there, that Heat offer with Hero, or would you take the collection of Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Terrence Mann, Amir Coffey, Kobe Brown, Brandon Boston, Jason Preston? So you're getting 5 young players in this deal with Mann, Coffey, Brown, Boston, Preston, and you're getting 3 first-round picks unprotected and 4 swaps. So 7 total draft assets. Is that better than Miami's offer? I think so. Blazers aren't getting Claxton if he's going to the Nets, by the way, just so we're clear. The Nets aren't doing that. Jenna says, what do you think about the Jackson Hayes deal? And by the way, Thomas Bryant to the Heat for 2 years, 5. Bryant to the Miami is pretty solid. Jackson Hayes to the Lakers, very good signing for them. Ben says, you Heat fans are a bunch of crybabies. If you get him, but crying about it isn't going to magically bring Dame to your team. That's the thing. Again, I have not explicitly said Damian Lillard will not be a Miami Heat, but people are acting like I'm saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I've never said that. Those words have not come out of my mouth during this live stream. Okay. I think it's very possible he's Miami Heat, but at the end of the day, the Blazers are going to do something that makes sense for them to do. They're not just going to say, "Oh, well, Dame said this, so we're going to have to make sure that we help him out." Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? They're gonna help Dame if it makes sense to them. Not Too Fam says, and Miami still had Bam. He's good enough to keep the Heat in the playoffs. Ever says, do you think most teams will try to make an offer for Dame? Let's talk about the teams that I think would make an offer for Damian Lillard. I think teams that'll make an offer for Dame. Boston will sniff around it, probably doesn't make an offer. Brooklyn will make an offer. I feel very confident in that. I think that going through the list, Chicago will try. The Blazers are going to laugh at them. Outside of that, I think, you could look at a team like the Clippers will make an offer probably. The Miami Heat will definitely make an offer. The Minnesota Timberwolves will make an offer probably, I would assume. And then outside of that, the Knicks will probably make an offer. I wouldn't be surprised if the Orlando Magic made an offer. Here it is from Bleacher Report. Look at this. What I've been telling you guys for all the people saying I'm a clown. Heat's trade offer for Dame. Miami prepared to offer Portland package center around Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and picks. Literally what we've been talking about. Literally what we've been talking about on the stream the whole time. Sixers will make an offer for Dame. Don't rule out the Phoenix Suns, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Something around Ayton, I guess, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the Suns will try. The Spurs, I think, will try, and the Raptors will try. Maybe Utah, but I don't know. I just don't know if I see that. Eric here says they need to get a big man back. Maybe they can throw Nurkic in the deal too. I'm interested to see what happens if Nurkic goes somewhere. Harrison says, would Brooklyn need another piece to be a contender? They would just need a little bit more rebounding, which I'm not sure how they'll get it, but they would probably need a little bit more of that. Status says the Heat are pulling all the about to absorb a big contract type moves right now. Yeah, they've moved off of a lot of contracts. Mr. Rudy says, I'm saying, why would Dame go to Miami to form a super team he has destroyed? Building super teams to this day. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But ultimately, if you can't beat it, join it. Danny Lewis says, Dame going to the Philadelphia 76ers. I know you meant big contract too, by the way. Ray here says, Miami are cooked for the next 10 years after this trade. They better win a chip. Sam says, do the Nets not include one of the rookies? They could include Derek Whitehead. They could include Noah Clowney. They probably would prefer to include Whitehead over Clowney, and I think the Nets would prefer that too, actually. Fraser Kid Protection says, no one knows the Miami or Brooklyn offer. You aren't the GM, dude. Well, trust me. Okay, here's the thing. I love these types of comments because it's like, I don't know. This whole idea of, we don't know what the offers are. It always makes me laugh. Here, let's do it. Let's go to Portland. They're going to trade Damian Lillard. Okay, let's go to Miami Heat. Let's rationalize it out. Here's the thing. So yes, I'm not hearing the calls between the teams. What are they centering a package around Kyle Lowry, dude? Here's the thing. You're going to say that I don't know what they're really What the hell else are they offering? If it's not Tyler Hero. And if it's not Duncan Robinson to make the money work, the NBA has trade rules to get the money to work. It gives you a very good indication on what the hell's going to happen. Okay, a very good indication on what the hell's going to happen. Okay, now are there minor pieces that could be included this way or that way? Yeah, maybe Nikola Jovic versus a Jaime Jaquez type of discussion. Could it be one? Could it be the other? Yes, that's a fair discussion to be had. But if you don't think that it's pretty obvious to tell, oh, look, the Miami Heat can't trade 2024. They can't trade 2026, but they can trade 2027. They can trade 2029, and then they can do swaps in 28 and swaps in 2030. That's their offer. That's their offer. They can offer those 4 picks, and they can offer Hero and Robinson to make the money work. It's not rocket science, okay? For anyone who actually understands how trades work in the NBA, this is going to say it doesn't work because of the consecutive years. It's because we didn't do the other swaps back. I'll go show you exactly what I mean. These are swaps. I try to disinclude them because people don't know actually how to read these things at all. So protect more favorable. When I send this, it's going to say success. I 100% guarantee you. I know what I'm doing here with these things, okay? These things work. It's very, very obvious. The trades are very clear what they have to be for specific teams. The Nets have a little bit more flexibility because they have more assets. The Heat don't, and that's my entire point on this. The Heat don't have a lot of flexibility. Rudy says 3-way trade with the Blazers, Pacers, and Knicks. Interesting. Max Strus, new contract, $63 million. Magic and Bird's career earnings combined was $63 million. That's insane. Crazy Man Sports says he's been hating since the stream started. Unsubscribe. I'm not even hating on the Heat. I think the Heat are a realistic landing spot. You like the silly game show, not the real basketball game. No, I love basketball, but whenever I make a video about X's and O's, you guys don't seem to care as much. The views aren't there for those. So that's not a me thing. That's a you guys thing. So Not Too Fam says, I would imagine the Dame package to the Heat is going to look real bad on the Blazers end anyways. Probably. NBA is a players' league. Players have the leverage. Portland can trade him anywhere, but will they? I don't know how you can say the players have the leverage when Portland can do anything they want. That's the leverage. Portland can do anything they want. That's the leverage. Now they might help out Dame, but James says, do you think Dame's agent will tell other teams he will not play for you if they trade for him, cornering the market? No, I don't think that will happen. I do not believe that'll happen. Metal Slug says, can't wait for a Wemby versus Holmgren matchup this year. Clash of the lanky guys. Wembanyama will end up probably dominating Holmgren. Even though I'm a big Holmgren guy, I love him. I love Chet, but Wemby's a lot better. Zach says, okay, finally able to hop in the stream for a bit. Yeah, glad to have you in here, Zach. I need you to keep these guys honest. There's a lot of crazy comments right now. We got a Zach W in here too already, which I love to see. Nate says, where do you think the Timberwolves will finish next season? I think they'll be a playoff team. Chomper says, Dame to OKC. Probably not. I don't see that. OG Luffy says, I hope the 76ers sign Dante DiVincenzo. We'll see. Ned says, who would you like for the Mavs to get with our mid-level exception? I'd like Doran. I'd like Dylan Brooks. Zach with the W. Noren right back to him like that. Sam says, I don't think Damon McHale and Cam and Clax is good enough to win a chip. Probably not, but they'd be good. These are my favorite types of comments right here. These are the ones I really love. Lolo says, Miller, Cat, and Nasri to Blazers for Lillard. No, I don't think so. Philly P says, with the two, he says, D'Lo is not ever coming to the Lakers. Good job, by the way. Or Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard is not ever coming to the Lakers. Good job, by the way. Thank you, Philly. Really appreciate that. We've had a lot of awesome conversation here with a lot of awesome Miami Heat fans. Blizzy said Miami Heat fans look crazy. They had 3 shots for a ring and failed. Nothing without Braun. Dude, they keep coming at me. And here's the thing. Guys, how many times have I said Damian Lillard will not be a Miami Heat? I have never said that. I don't understand why they're so upset even. All I've said is there can't be this much of a discrepancy in a trade for Portland to do it. I said there can be this much of a discrepancy and they probably will. Here's the thing. I don't understand why they're so upset. They're just they're literally screaming at the wall. And we do have news to report. So let's go back over to Twitter right now. We have a Woj bomb to share. Very excited to share that. Make sure you guys go give us a follow on Twitter. But here it is. Free agent guard D'Angelo Russell has agreed on a 2-year, $37 million contract to stay with the LA Lakers. Co-heads of CAA basketball, Austin Brown and Aaron Mintz, along with Antonio Russell, tell ESPN. Deal has player option. Lakers secure their starting point guard. So D'Lo stays in LA on a 2-year, $37 million deal. Zach says, I'm excited to see where Dame goes. Feels like Miami for Hero Robinson picks. Also think it'll be Jovic. I'm interested to see if Jaime Jaquez is included too in deals. says bro's fighting for his life right now, talking about the Miami Heat trade. Dude, it's been pretty crazy in here. Pat Riley's stingy. Watch him try to only offer 1 pick. Dude, that would be crazy if that's the case. Michigan Maid says, I was sleeping for about an hour. What did I miss? And my Twitter's still down. You haven't really missed much. D'Angelo Russell's a Laker again, staying there. So Portland's incompetent, says Jack. They'll get 2 bottle tops and a ticket stub for Dame. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Hopefully the ticket's to a good show. Flexorcist says, to be fair, a trade involving more than 2 teams is rocket science to me. Okay, fair. I just think when it comes to matching salaries and stuff, to me, I've spent so much time in the trade machine and looking at salaries and stuff. That's literally what I do for fun. So I know where the contracts are. I know what the money has to be, and I understand the value of the players roughly to build frameworks of deals. You don't get fair value for superstars, typically, except unless you're Denver and you trade away Carmelo Anthony. They did very well. Jakin says, why is the chat so toxic this morning? It's all the Miami fans. They're a little riley. It's like, they're a little rowdy today. It's like 2 p.m. their time. They're a little stressed because they're like kind of scared that other teams might want Damian Lillard. Philly P says pick swaps are empty because Portland will be trash. If they trade Dame, they'll never be in a position to swap. They might by 2028 and 2030. Those are like long ways away. Like think Jimmy Butler's going to be like nearly 40 years old and Damian Lillard will be like 37. Like that's a long ways away. So Ryan says not the GM, but when you can have both of the rosters in front of you, it's very doable puzzle. You can put the pieces together if you understand the need of each team. Literally, like people are acting like putting together like mock trades is impossible. It's very, very simple actually to do. There's been a lot of times that I've discussed mock trades that end up literally coming out to the exact same fruition. Brendan, we're gonna have to hold Brendan to this. It's still possible Dame goes to Miami, so we'll have to hold Brendan to this if that ultimately does happen. Shout out to everyone with the super chats today. Lucas came in here with 2 different $20 super chats. Cherry with 2 different super chats as well, one for 7, one for 3. Shout out to Mr. Rudy for a $5 one, and then Philly P with a $2 super chat as well. Go a long way in helping us support us here at the on the channel. Nick says Sheldon could be the GM, already better than Nico Harrison. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have traded for Kyrie Irving, and hopefully my team would have made the playoffs this past year. Fat Sean Kemp says Portland needs to do what's best for their franchise, but they did sign Grant to that ludicrous contract, so I don't have faith. Yeah, the one thing is, like, if you're talking about Damian Lillard screwing the Portland Trailblazers, he waited for them to sign Grant. Like, I'm gonna tweet this. Let's get out of here. I don't want to tweet this at Woj. How do I don't do? Twitter is making me upset. I didn't want to save that as a draft, but that's okay. 5-year. Why didn't he stop that from the beginning? Yeah, such a bad look, honestly. Like, Dame just sitting there waiting. Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler relayed to the team weeks ago that Portland Trailblazers star should be the number 1 target this offseason, according to Chris Haynes. Let's go over there to Chris Haynes quick. He has some more reporting. Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler relayed to the team weeks ago that Portland Trailblazers star Damian Lillard should be the number 1 target this offseason. This feels like tampering without actually tampering. Like, if Jimmy's talking to Dame, there's nothing wrong with that, but the fact that Jimmy's then saying, yeah, Dame would like to be here to the organization might be a little interesting. Jay Van says Dame equals 305. I still think it's a very real possibility. Like, in fact, if I had to bet, like, I don't know. I think that, like, them, like, I think I keep doing this. Let me discard that. Let me go to my profile. Here we go. Let me tweet now. For Dame landing spots ranked. 1, I would say, is the Miami Heat, but I just hate this idea that it's like only Miami. That's not only Miami. That's not a thing. I'm going to put 2, the Philadelphia 76ers. 3, the Brooklyn Nets. Those are my guesses currently for where Dame could theoretically go. Now, like, again, I don't have like any firm thoughts on that. Like, the reason why, I just think that's like what my gut feeling and instinct is telling me, which typically my gut leads me in a lot of good directions when it comes to situations like this. So I'm going to trust it. Reeves is not on the move. Reeves will be back with the Lakers. Jenna says, where's Brook Lopez going? And I think Max Strus got overpaid. What do you think about the D'Lo deal? D'Lo deal's fine. About right for D'Lo. They didn't pay him too much. Paid him probably about what I would be willing to pay him. And then Brook Lopez probably going to the Houston Rockets, but I still wouldn't rule out Milwaukee in that either. Philly P says, who would have thought D'Lo's contract would be similar to Rui's? Yeah, so, for some reason, the Lakers were more willing to commit to Rui Hachimura long-term than D'Angelo Russell, which, not that I would commit to D'Angelo Russell long-term, but I definitely don't think I would have committed to Rui Hachimura the way that they did. So I would take the Jaylen Brown trade for Dame if it exists. I wouldn't worry about draft picks. I'm thinking the Blazer draft picks will be top 5 for years. I don't know if they would be with Jaylen Brown, Scoot Henderson, and Shaedon Sharpe, to be honest. Gio Mute says, I'm not being toxic. I can't say that about my Miami Heat brothers, though. Yeah, no, Gio, you've been awesome. Gio, I've really appreciated having you in here. You've been a rational, sane Heat fan, which is good because, I've never even said that I think that Miami Heat is not happening for Dame. I think that's a very real possibility. That was actually a pretty good point from Terrell there, I think. He tried to trust the organization, saying they were going to get better. And then what happened was they signed Jeremy Grant. Man, what an L. Jeremy Grant, the guy that was supposed to help keep Dame in Portland. Nick says, our Mavs going to make a move today. They'll probably sign someone on the mid-level today, I would guess. Nate says, who would Brooklyn offer for Dame? They'd offer the contract of Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas, Day'Ron Sharpe, and then a crap ton of picks is what they would offer. This is exactly what I'm saying here from Fanstripe. It's not a foregone conclusion. DK says they got the power of culture. Dude, Miami fans are crazy in a good way and a kind of crazy way. Ripple Marcus says, hey, you got your wish, Utility Sports. Yeah, it's finally over. This whole Dame, is he going to ask out? Will he not? What's going to go on? We've heard it for 3 years now at this point, it feels like. I'm actually happy that we're at a point where, it's happened. We can relax, we can chill, and we're fine. Ethan says, are the Pacers a playoff team next year? Probably, if I had to guess. I think they're going to be right on the fringe. Watt says maybe he was hoping they could trade Grant for a better piece, and then when that didn't happen, he requested trade. That's a good point, Watts. It's a very fair point. Yeah, usually it's chill, but a lot of Miami Heat fans in here today. They saw Dame in a 76ers jersey on the thumbnail, and they came in heated. So they put heat in heated for sure. Make sure to go give us a follow over on Twitter if you guys haven't already. Would really appreciate you guys giving me a follow over on there for more NBA content. I tweet about the NBA all the time. Reseller Gaming says, and they had a meeting that was supposed to keep Dame from not leaving and insist of putting a contending roster around him, and they offer Grant that much. Yeah, that's one thing too. Is I talked about how that meeting they can say we're going to build a contender. They can say all these things, but it just doesn't change how good they are actually as a team. DSS Scoot asking for number 0 was the final straw. Yet it's funny, you would think he's going to stay with 00, right? He's not going to switch now. They're going to retire Dame's number, I'm guessing. BZ says you're a smart man. Appreciate it. Glad having all you guys, all you smart fans in here too. Smart people who understand the NBA and know what's going on. Dame getting his bro Grant generational money before dipping. That's true too. Jack says I'm real suspicious if the Nets get Dame. That Harris salary dump stinks. That Harris salary dump's good. The reason that's good is it gives them room against the tax and stuff to fit Dame's contract in more comfortably. So that's part of the reason. Eric says any chance he goes to the Spurs? They have a ton of draft capital and cap space. I would say there's a 1% chance San Antonio does it. I don't know. I don't really see it, to be honest. Austin here says, how about this? Haslam unretires and joins the package, and it's Lillard for Haslam straight up. That's a Miami Heat type of offer right there. I like it. Dude, Pat Riley would be probably I don't know if we can give up Haslam in this. He'd be a little reluctant. He'd probably step away from negotiations for a day. Here 305 says, he said it's only Miami. What do you mean it's not a thing? I don't know. Does anyone have the actual quote of Damian Lillard saying it's only Miami? I don't know. Brandon Sutherland says, I didn't realize I was talking to the Damian Lillard, so I couldn't be helping tamper Jimmy Butler, literally. Ned says, honestly surprised that Mavs haven't made moves today. I'm still waiting for a trade. We'll see what happens. They might be waiting out some of this, James Harden, Damian Lillard drama that's going on today right now. Danny Lewis says the 76ers need point guards. Jack says Mavs made moves all yesterday, bro. Yeah, they still have some flexibility to move forward. Gio says all I can say is it's up to Pat Riley if he's willing to give up our young guys in first, and up to the Blazers if they want to make Dame happy or not. Yeah, and I think I think it's a very real possibility, but I think it's going to come down to how close the offers are. Oregon here says I'm happy to trade Lillard, get a boatload. Hopefully they get a really good amount. They got Kyrie and then Seth on the biannual. Yeah, I like what they did yesterday. But the Mavs still have more flexibility. They have the mid-level exception you have to play with. So, Mr. Washington Christ says Mavs need another guy for a big three. Doncic plus Irving plus Lillard, and they play zero defense. That would be bad. Those three guys together would not be functionally great. Brady Thompson says Brook Lopez to the Spurs if they trade for Dame. Would be good if they pulled that off. Don't forget, we also have Jeremy Grant. I hope that you don't forget you have Jeremy Grant. That's going to be a problem, Blazers fans. That's going to be a problem. Jennifer here says it's been 2 days since Clarkson opts into his final year on his Jazz, and there's no news after that. Just wait for there's going to be some type of extension, I think. Zlatan says, can Mavs take on Zubats or Nurkic? Theoretically, yes. It would be centered around Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr. going back to one of those two teams, which I don't know if that's going to be something that happens. Alan Walker says, why would the Blazers even trade for Hero when they already have Anthony Simons? That's part of the question. Hero's better than Simons, first of all. That's part of the reason why. But secondly, it's just so that they could maybe trade Hero again later. I think a 3-team deal makes more sense. Judy here says, do you think Clint to OKC makes sense because they have no true center, Isaiah Joe, and a first or more? I don't think Capella to Oklahoma City is going to happen. I think OKC likes their roster. Twisted Arcade says Lakers committed to Rui before D'Lo because of lack of starting caliber stretch wings. Has burned you too many seasons in a row, and we always find value at the guard position. Listen, it's not that Rui Hachimura is a terrible player. It's just for similar values, similar money points, it's pretty surprising to me. Jenna says, do I like you? Do you like me, Sheldon? Yes, Jenna. I appreciate you guys being in here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us today here at Utility Sports. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. Would really appreciate if you guys could hit that subscribe button. We slowly see that number continue to grow, even though Heat fans are saying they're unsubscribing. We're still growing. So, Willie here says, so does Zach LaVine get traded too? No. They kept Vucevic. They're sticking with their current roster, I think. Mr. Watching Christ says probably when Dame saw the stupid deal on Grant, he requested a trade. That's probably a real possibility. Chaco 2K says if we equal the likes from today and yesterday equals 900, which means top stream. Chaco, it does not. We have to get 900 in an individual stream, so you guys have to pick it up. Pedro says Dame wanted them to re-sign Jeremy Grant. Maybe something else influenced his decision. Oregon Stacker says he can give us 3 first-rounders with Jimmy Butler. We can start talking. Not Too Fam says, who's a better player, Strus or Josh Richardson? Strus is, but Richardson's a better value contract. Zach says, you think the organization would run the idea by Dame giving Grant the bag to see if that's what he wants to build a team around? That's exactly right. You would think that's hey, should we actually do this? Are you going to be in if we do it? And I don't know. I don't know if Dame – I don't know what Dame thought about this. This guy saying – I don't know who is trading for 5 years, $160 million of Jeremy Grant. Probably the Dallas Mavericks. Probably my favorite team. I should stop making fun of it. He's gonna end up in Dallas, and I'm gonna hate my life. Solid Jakin says I think he ends up in Brooklyn. Talking about Dame, they have the most to trade in terms of picks. D'Lo wasn't an overpay at 18. That's what his market was going to be. You could say you don't like D'Lo, and I would agree with that. I'm not a big D'Lo guy myself, but that's what his market was going to roughly be, was $18 million. Ned here says, honestly surprised that Mavs haven't made moves today. I'm still waiting for a trade, and the energy from today compared to yesterday is crazy. A lot of different energy in here today. Just when you have different people in the stream, it's going to be different. Judah says, I know a while ago Dame said on a podcast he wants Brooklyn or Miami because he's good friends with McHale and Bam. Yeah, I think if I had to guess, those are the two teams that I would guess he wants to play for. Shout out to Data Driven Pistons fan. Really appreciate that. Huge thank you to you for the the follow over on there means a lot. Make sure to go give us a follow on Twitter if you do enjoy everything we're talking about. But yeah, he doesn't have a no trade clause. So could the Suns get Dame? Wants to know Devin Booker 96. When there's a will, there's a way. DeAndre Ayton? No, I'm just kidding. Probably not. Carl De Leon says Frank Vogel was the scapegoat when Westbrook was the actual problem. Westbrook was the scapegoat when Rob Pelinka was the problem and made a trade that didn't make any sense for the team. The team wasn't good because the fit wasn't there. It's not Westbrook's fault. It was the guy who built the team's fault. Zach Fine says, can you speak about who else Lakers can get after D'Lo re-signed for $18 million? It's going to be Austin Reeves, Zach. Austin Reeves is going to be their next focus, keeping him. I'm interested to see if he gets a restricted or an offer sheet at all. We'll see ultimately what happens there. Work for what you want says, if you know the Heat are clearly going to get outbid, by your logic, you should be committed to thinking he's not going to Miami. You say Blazers aren't going to take a bad deal, but Miami's deal is bad. No, this is the thing here. This is what I'm saying. I think they're going to be outbid. I think at best, Miami is the lesser offer here. But my point is, if Portland does want to do well by Dame, I think that's a possibility as long as the offers are here. If the offers are close like this, like let's say Brooklyn offers 3 firsts and some decent players, and let's say Miami offers 2 firsts and some decent players. Like, it's a close gap. Now, if Brooklyn comes out of nowhere and offers 5 first-round picks and Miami offers 2, this is the issue. This is where Brooklyn for sure gets him. I don't 100% know Brooklyn offers 5 firsts, but I do know Miami at max can offer 2 firsts, 2 swaps, Hero, Jovic, Jaquez. This is their ceiling of an offer, okay? With Duncan Robinson in there to make the money work, okay? This is their ceiling. So I can't 100% say I know he's not going to Miami because I don't know what this top offer is going to be, but I think that there's a chance where this top offer makes Miami's offer look like it's down here. And I think there's a chance where the top offer is here, and then maybe Miami still stays involved anyway because Brooklyn wants to do right by Dame if the offers are close, which is what I've said for like 30 times in this streak through 2 hours. I've said it 30 times. Feels like I'm saying it once every 4 minutes. Diaz says the third team got to be involved. That needs a Tyler Hero in Portland, needs more picks and a good young wing or big man. Yeah, I think like Tyler Hero is probably not going to be a Blazer. He would get traded somewhere else, I would think. Ben here says Chris Paul and Kuminga for Dame. Yeah, no, not going to happen. Spicy says, did Dame make them max grants? I'm assuming some of that money was supposed to go to Draymond. That's probably the hope that they had. But the issue is they could never really get Draymond unless the Warriors were going to sign and trade him. So Nick wants to know what the Dallas Mavericks next move is going to be today. Watch for Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is going to sign in Texas. I'm just not sure if it's the Heat or not the Heat, excuse me. If it's the Mavs or if it's the Rockets. Baby Mamba, thanks for the follow over on Twitter. Really do appreciate that. Heat fans are heated. Zach says THJ, Holmes, and JaVale is perfect financial fit for Grant. It is, but I don't know if that's what I want to see. Old Dirty here says the Lakers Westbrook signing was LeBron's fault. I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, like just because LeBron says to go do something doesn't mean you need to go do it, especially when it's something so stupid like Russell Westbrook. And it's funny, if you go back to a lot of the bigger YouTube channels, a lot of people were like, oh, this is actually pretty good for the Lakers. They get another ball handler, another playmaker. A lot of people liked it for them, and I just could not understand why. Within a month, everyone realized how bad it was, but I said right from the start that it was going to be terrible. But if you go back and go watch other YouTubers, like they'll justify it for the Lakers. They will, because that's what they did. Kyler said OKC is adding 2021 EuroLeague MVP, the number 2 overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, and the number 10 overall pick in the 2023 draft to their rotation. How do you feel about Mičić? I think it's good. I think Mičić is going to be really good for OKC. I think the Thunder are going to be a really, really dangerous team next year. I think Chet gives them a lot of the things that they were supposed to, that they need, that they lacked from this last year. I think that they're going to be really, really, really good, honestly. Five God says we can get rid of every player on our team for 2 Clippers would be trash with no depth. I don't know. I don't think he's talking about my mocked trade. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen here. This 3-team deal where Dame ends up in Philadelphia. He's talking about this for the Clippers. The Clippers turning rotation players of Morris, Batum, and Mann into Harden and Harris does not make them worse. I will tell you that. In fact, they get a lot better. Coffee doesn't really play that much. Kobe Brown's a rookie. BJ Boston hasn't played a ton. Preston hasn't played a ton. Like, really, the guy that hurts giving up is Mann. It hurts to give up Terrence Mann. But if you're getting James Harden, it makes a ton of sense. So, that's just what I think. But he doesn't like that. But I think it would be very good. Sam here says, what are Micic's strengths and the Kings guy's strength? I haven't watched them. So, first of all, whenever you're getting a professional player, you're getting a guy who knows how to play, first of all. Like, he's a veteran. Like, actually, he's going to come in. Mičić is 29 years old, so he's actually going to be one of the older players on the Oklahoma City Thunder roster. But this past year, he shot, I think, 62% from two. He shot, 93% from the line. The guy's very good. He's a good three-point shooter. Like, he's a really, really good player. He's going to be able to score on all three levels. He's efficient. And then for Sasha Vezenkov, again, you're getting a guy who has been accomplished in the past. Like, he's won an MVP in the Euro League. He's a very, very good player. And then outside of that, you're looking at a guy, again, he can shoot. He's playing for Olympiacos and for Greece, and I think he shot 43-ish% from three, which fits really well in Sacramento. I think he's going to have a pretty good role there. He doesn't turn over the basketball much. You're getting guys who are smart, and coming over from the EuroLeague, you're getting players who can actually play. They understand how to run system sets. EuroLeague is very much a sets-based game. There's less transition, so that's going to be one of the big adjustments for these guys, is getting up and down the court. It's a faster game. But I think overall, you're looking at, down the stretch of games, these guys are going to be reliable and someone you can have on the court to run offense through and do a lot of nice things. So it's really, really good for Sacramento and Oklahoma City. Channel here says thoughts on the Jazz. I like the Jazz. The Jazz have a lot of really nice, good young pieces. I really like Taylor Hendricks. I think that was a home run. Getting John Collins was smart. Pretty much everything Danny Ainge has done has been successful, in my opinion, so far for Utah. Prince here says Randall, RJ, Fournier, Obi, Sims, 5 picks for Dames, Nas, Nasir Little, and Grant. I don't think Julius Randle is going back, to be honest. I don't think that Grant or Randall would be included. He's going to Miami. The heck is this? It's possible he goes to Miami. This is a 3-team mock-up of James Harden getting traded essentially in a deal that would bring Damian Lillard in here. Maine says, any updates have been gone for a while. D'Angelo Russell stays with the Lakers. That's one of the free agency updates. OG Luffy says, thoughts on if 76ers signed Dante DiVincenzo. I would like that for them. I would like that for them quite a bit. Jack here says, I think Philly makes more sense. Harrison says, Randall the Mavs, Mitchell Robinson to the Clippers. I don't know if I see that at all in any type of framework. I don't think that there's anything to work there. So we'll see. I mean, maybe. You never know, right? A lot of crazy things could happen. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. Glad to have you guys all in here. Big Mike says Harden also doesn't stay in shape, which means his body breaks down when you get to April, May. His playoff history is poor. Here, I have a question for you guys. This is how would you grade this guy's playoff statistics for his career if he averages over 22 points a game, over 5 assists per game, over 5 rebounds per game for the playoffs? What would you grade this? Drop your grades right now from A to F, like A being like, hey, that's a high-end star, F being that guy shouldn't play in the playoffs. Tell me what you would grade that. And give me this is on a 160 game sample size. This is 160 games. So this is sustained playoff success. This is A+. A lot of people are saying A+, B+. like A minus. That's James Harden. This is James Harden in the playoffs. So, people just love to say that he's a trash playoff performer, and then when we actually give his numbers and his grades, it's like everyone's like, oh, that's like a really darn good player. Like, and the thing is, like, a lot of people might say, oh, well, let's just pull it up, because I do want people to see what his actual stuff is. I will get it pulled up on stream here in just a second. Let's remove that. Let's get this pulled up on stream now for you guys. This is StatMuse, and remember, this includes some years in OKC where he barely averaged anything in the playoffs. Let's look at what he did in Houston. Playoffs, 26, 27, 27, 26, 28, 28 and a half, 31.6. This is the year that people say he choked. These 2 years right here, 28.6 and 31.6. 29.6, and then he went to Brooklyn. His role changed, but his assists per game went up as well. 8.6 assists, 8.6 assists, 8.3 assists. So, and field goal, I mean, he shoots 34% from three in the playoffs, 43% from the field nearly. 87% from the line. It's pretty good. So his splits are 43, 34, and 87. And let's try and exclude the playoff year. So let's do since 2012. Let's see if that includes his OKC Thunder year or not. Okay, we have to do since 2013. This is his playoff stats since leaving OKC. JD3, here's the thing. If you're going to talk about what he did in closeout and elimination games, you're basing his entire career off of like 4 games. Like you're going to base his career off of 4 games where he didn't go out and perform. Which, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But if you think 26, 7.5, and 6 in 117 playoff games since leaving OKC is terrible, then I can't help you. I can't. Now do Jalen's playoff stats. Let's pull up Jaylen Brown's playoff stats. So just remember these numbers, okay? I think people will all acknowledge Jaylen Brown's a good player too. Significantly worse in all of the categories. 18, 5, 2 compared to 26, 7.5, 6. Like you see the difference between James Harden and Jaylen Brown for playoff performances. Carl says Harden's the type of player to score 50 on 12 of 25. First of all, 12 of 25 is very good. That's 48% from the field. And then 20 of 20 from the free throw line is great. Brian, if you're looking for someone who's blamed everybody besides himself, it's Doc Rivers, not James Harden. Not James Harden. Jesse here, timeout Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, of course, he's very small sample size, so his is a little bit unfair to look at here. But his is unreal. He's only played 11 playoff games, so it's like, whatever. But, I mean, look at what he did to Denver this year. Shot 48% from the field, shot 35% from three, so it's not even like he was a streaky three-point shooter. Like, that's pretty close to what he actually shoots during the season. Like, he's just good. Averaged 2 blocks a game in the playoffs this year in 5 games. Like, that's unreal. Anthony Edwards is going to be a killer. Anthony Edwards is going to be really, really good. The efficiency's not good. Okay, let's pull up another guy. Remember, James Harden is creating purely off of self-isolation creation. For the playoffs, Dirk Nowitzki shot 46, 36, 89. And I think we would all say Dirk Nowitzki was an efficient playoff player. Harden is in the same ballpark as Dirk Nowitzki, and none of James Harden's stuff has come off of catch and shoot. It's all self-creation. So, Ant Edwards' max extension is a year from now. This was the this free agent. Or wait a minute. Oh no, it is this year, isn't it? Wait, yeah, he's the 2020 draft. Yeah, why? I don't know why he hasn't gotten extended yet. But yeah, Halliburton's going to do some really good things in the playoffs. The nice thing, Big Mike, is even when he goes 3 of 13, he probably has like 11 assists. There's, let's see his career highs. I don't know if this is even going to work that way. That's unfortunate. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, for a guy who averages 6 assists a game in the playoffs, and part of it was the first couple of years he wasn't getting any assists, like, I don't know. It's, you can base it however you want. Like, yeah, James Harden says games where he's choked, and I 100% agree with that. Vagos here says Dame for Lowry plus Duncan plus picks. Definitely a possibility. Well, no, I don't think that's happening. I don't think it's going to be for Kyle Lowry. Matt Sand says Dame to the Nets makes the most sense to me, especially if Portland includes Nurkic. I'm in the trade too. Yeah, I think Nurkic to Brooklyn actually makes sense in that as well. Frantoshek says, in what range do you see Devin Vassell extension? 4 years, 80, something along that line. And I think that's a good deal. Jack here says maybe a little bit less, 4 years, 72. Something like that. Jack says it has to be Philly because Harden much better asset than Simmons. Yeah, like that's the thing is, if you go back to my trade deadline stream a year and a half ago when Harden got sent to Philadelphia, I told everybody it was an A+ trade for Philly, and they were like, "What? What? You think that?" Like they were all hating on me. It's like, what? Simmons has barely played since. Big Mike here says, forget 28-year-old James Harden, look at 30-plus Harden, and the numbers are much different. And, of course, that includes him missing the last 4 games of the Brooklyn series when favored. So he actually, remember, he played at the end of the Brooklyn series. He played at the very end for Brooklyn through a hamstring. So let's not hate on James Harden. He played through an injury on a hamstring that he pulled just literally days before he played again. He played 9 games. He missed 2 games. Their first series was 4 games. They swept Boston, killed them. James Harden's a big reason why no one could guard him on that team. And then the series against Milwaukee went 7 games. He missed 2 of them. He played in 5. So he did not miss the last 4 games of that series. He was injured. He played the final 2 injured. And they almost won. But again, yes, the numbers look way different. It's because the field goal attempts per game look way different. He went from 19 to 12. If you're wondering why the points per game looks way different. And look at how much more efficient he's been in that year, specifically those years. These are the years he was hurt. Didn't shoot the ball well. He's not the same player anymore because he's injured. He's been injured. He's been playing with a hamstring injury. Just like if you watch the guy, he doesn't have the same burst anymore, and it's because of that injury. So I could see Vassell getting up to 490. I don't think it's unreasonable too. The one thing I'm accounting for, Zach, is if you look at all of San Antonio's contract extensions off of rookie deals, they're all favorable for San Antonio. Keldon Johnson's on a super cheap contract. DeJounte Murray was as well. I think they'll end up getting something similar done with Vassell. But I think like 4 years to 100 would even be valuable for Vassell. He's worth it. Sam says 14 deal Dame to the Heat, Hero and stuff to the Sixers, Harden to the Clippers, package from Heat. And some from Clippers to Trailblazers. Actually, I like this. Let's actually go do this. That's actually a very intriguing idea, and one that I do want to talk about. So let's go over here. We're gonna nix this whole Dame to the Magic thing. I don't actually think that's gonna happen, but I wanted to discuss it as like a hey, what if type of situation. So let's get the Heat in here. Let's add team 4. That'll be the Sixers, and let's add team 3 was the Sixers. Add team 4 is the Clippers. I think you might be onto something here, Sam. Actually, I like that framework of an idea. So with what you're working with here, you wanted Dame to the Heat, Hero and stuff to the Sixers. Okay, let's go get that done. I actually do like this as a potential framework. So Hero goes to Philadelphia. We send James Harden to the Clippers. Let's see what else. What else do we got in here? You wanted to send package from Heat and some from Clippers to the Trailblazers. Okay, so this isn't bad. This is actually a pretty good idea. Dame goes to Miami. So far, the only team not sending stuff has been the Clippers. So let's start with the picks from the Clippers. They're going to send 2028 one to the Blazers. They're going to send a 2031 to the Blazers. I like the framework of this deal already so far, to be honest with you. Let's send Norm Powell to the 76ers. What we're going to do here to make the money work is we're going to send Duncan Robinson let's wait on Duncan Robinson. I want to think about where he could potentially go. So money-wise, we got him out. Okay, I like this framework. I just need to put together the pieces of who's going where and what at what points and prices and everything. Let's send. Realistically, we could open up a lot more money here by sending Lowry somewhere. We could send Lowry to the Blazers, which gives them an expiring, which I actually like, and then that way the Heat don't have to sacrifice too much of their current roster. They could also take in Nick Batum, which gives them a little bit more size. Let's not do Batum. Let's do Covington. I think Covington actually makes a little bit more sense for what the Heat need for like size and defensive versatility. So that's kind of our opening package here. The Sixers can still take in more money. Let's send in Nasir Little to the 76ers. Or the Sixers actually are taking in a lot of, wait a minute. The Sixers are taking in a ton of money. Oh, that's right, because they got Hero. Okay, so no Nasir Little here. Let's undo that. So we actually need to send out $10 million here. So let's send out Korkmaz. He's going to go to the Blazers, as well as Daniil House to the Blazers. Okay, so money-wise, this is relatively working so far, which I like. We just have to send out some more money from the Clippers here. Let's send Coffee to the Blazers. Let's send, not Bones. Let's send Boston to the Blazers, and let's send Preston to the Blazers. Okay, so money-wise, we're in the ballpark for all of these teams. And then for picks, the 76ers would give up, 2029 round 1 to the Blazers. They would give up a swap in 2030, protect this. Less favorable to the Blazers. Blazers would then have to send a protected more favorable back to the 76ers. Oh, I did not want to do that, but let's just change this to protected more favorable. There we go. And then from this perspective, the Heat, did I have them giving up their picks yet? No. So 2028 to the Blazers, 2030 to the Blazers, and we have a deal come together like this. Clippers get Harden. This is actually an interesting framework. Blazers get Lowry, Korkmaz, House. They don't get any long-term money, which is good for them. They get Amir Coffey, Brandon Boston, Jason Preston, collection of young pieces there, 3 of them, and they get a ton of picks. First rounder here in 2028, another first in 2028, first in 2029, first in 2030, first in 2030, which it's not bad. That's actually a pretty intriguing offer there. They get 5 first-round picks, I believe, and a pick swap. They get collection of young pieces. Maybe you could say they need a little bit more. I think that you could argue that. But I honestly, I think this is a pretty compelling offer. I actually really like this one a lot. Let's take a screenshot of that. Sam, I'm going to share this on Twitter. I think, are you following me on Twitter, Sam? Okay, Damian Lillard's trade request doesn't change Portland's intention to sign Jeremy Grant to the 5-year, $160 million contract agreed upon Friday. Free agent deals can't be formalized and signed until July 6th. Very interesting. So they are keeping him there, which is interesting. I don't know if I would do that. Interesting trade composition idea floated by @Samuel. Sam, I think you're following me, right? Over on Twitter. What's your @Sam? I'd love to see what your thing is, just so I can make sure to give you some credit for this on Twitter, because this was your idea. Very interesting. Why would the Sixers be giving up picks? Because they're moving Harden to get Damian Lillard. That's why. Because the one thing about giving up like Harden here is like he doesn't want to be a Sixer anymore. So they are kind of in a spot where it's like what they do with Simmons. They gave up Simmons and picks to get Harden. They're going to do the same thing. Give up Harden and picks to get Dame. Okay, sweet. I will do that then, Sam. A viewer in my live chat. Love the idea. behind it. I need to change this. Interesting 4-team trade composition. It's actually a pretty intriguing thought, I think. So let's open that. Let's put that in there. Who knows if something like that comes to fruition or not. That's obviously a very big deal. It's a lot of moving parts and moving pieces, but holistically, I think it's something that realistically I could see myself getting talked into a bit. So I like that quite a bit for Portland. And I honestly, getting 5 picks and swaps, pretty crazy. Jack here wants to know what happens to Zion. Did Bane get too much? How will Chet play this season? Bane got the right amount. He's worth it. Rookie max extension is the fun max. It's not too bad. Zion will stay in New Orleans. Chet will play very, very well. Boosh says, I like a trade where the Heat get Dame, Pelicans get Hero, Blazers get picks and young pieces. I'm not sure if the Pelicans are lining up for Tyler Hero, though. I understand. I think the Pelicans are a team that has the makeup to be a third team, but they also have 14 guys under roster, so I'm not sure. Norman Rad says, is there a world where John Morant could be traded, say culture, etc.? What would a trade for him look like? I did think about earlier floating a potential John Morant, Damian Lillard flip-flop, but I just can't see that happening. I don't think they're going to trade Ja. I think it would be a hard overreaction. Rudy says, truth is starting to flood Twitter. That's why Deep State is bogging it down. Okay. P. Rican says that's crazy. Spicy Sriracha says Sixers aren't getting Dame, though. Heat are getting Dame. Jack says, love the Herb Jones extension, by the way. Herb Jones extension was great. Really, really good. Love Hayes in Los Angeles. I do, too. Really think that was a good signing for them. They needed some more size. They got it. Good young player. Burke here says, Morant, Grayson Allen, and Dylan Brooks to the Pistons. It's an interesting cast of guys to want. That's the all-menace team right there. That's a pretty scary grouping in Detroit. And in Detroit, of all places, too. Holy cow. Oh, my goodness. Philly should bring over Philippe Petrusev. I liked him when they grabbed him a couple drafts ago. Petrusev is an interesting player. Relatively young. I like it. I like it a lot. This 14 trade composition, though, was very interesting. Sam, thanks for floating that idea, because it's actually a very, very intriguing package, I would say. One that actually I think makes a good deal of sense. So shout out to Why Not for the follow over on Twitter. Shout out to Beanie as well for the follow over on Twitter. And again, Dame, his trade request does not change the Jeremy Grant news, which is very interesting. And we're still waiting on this situation here too. Waiting for a Damian Lillard trade, which is pretty crazy. I've been live for 2.5 hours at this point. I'm probably going to wrap up the stream here. We're going to wait. If Damian Lillard gets traded, I will come back live on the channel. We'll see what happens. Is there Pat Bev news? I don't see any Pat Bev news. West Jersey says, not sure why anyone would trade for Harden. He'll just get pissed and demand a trade in 1.5 years. Well, then you just flip him for more assets. The stuff you gave up is the stuff you get back. It's not that bad. Petrusev is playing with the Sixers in Summer League, and talk is he may be with them this season. Well, that's good. I didn't see that he was on their Summer League roster. To be honest, I haven't looked at all the Summer League rosters yet. I've seen some, but I haven't been dialed in on it. So Harden for Norm, Man, Batum, and picks, probably not. Yeah, something along those lines. Why Notorious says Lakers sign and trade Reeves in a package with Hero, multiple picks to Portland. Lakers get Lowry, and Miami gets Dame and Nurkic. I don't see that. I think the Lakers would just rather have Reeves than Lowry, to be honest. Pat Bev to the Sixers. Is that actually a thing? Tag me on Twitter if that's a thing. Here, Connor has a trade idea. So here the Blazers get Hero, Robinson, Mook, Zubas, bunch of picks. Clippers get Harden, Nurkic. Heat get Dame and some picks, which is interesting. 76ers get Powell, Man, Highland, collection of draft picks. So one thing I'm going to say here, the Heat wouldn't get picks in this, unless you're doing the swaps. Maybe that's what you're doing here. Perhaps you're talking about the swaps, Cooper. Which if you're doing swaps, then yeah, but otherwise they wouldn't get picks. Does anyone have news on the? Here we are, Pat Bev Pod. Okay, via the Pat Bev Pod. Breaking news: free agent guard Patrick Beverley is signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Look at that, Pat Bev to Philly. I like that. I like that for them quite a bit. We've got some Kai Soto hype in here from the Gypsy. It's been a while since we've had Kai Soto chat on the channel. Work for what you want says, I think Phoenix might have put to rest the no bench talks. I mean, they've done a good job. I still don't think their bench is elite, but I think the players that they got they've gotten like some good pieces. They got some solid additions. Now, like I'm not going to sit here and say Drew Eubanks is a perfect backup big, but I think he's solid. Broke back to Milwaukee as well. Wow. Okay. And oh my goodness, that's a massive amount of money. Let's get that pulled up. So I like Beverly going to the Sixers quite a bit. I think that's very, very good. But here's the big news today. Free agent center Brook Lopez has agreed to a 2-year, $48 million deal to return to the Milwaukee Bucks. Sources tell The Athletic. Holy cow. A lot of money for Brook Lopez, but he's definitely well worth it. I think had a legit case to being the Defensive Player of the Year this past season. If I had a vote, I would have voted for him over Jaren Jackson. I think he was the best defensive player in the league this past season. That's a lot of money, though, for Brook Lopez, which I think this gives a lot of legitimacy to the Houston Rockets rumors that they were going to give him the bag. And because of that, the Bucks had to come back with $24 million annually. I think that they're in a really tough spot. Keeping everyone going forward, it's going to be really, really challenging. But it's the last time to run it back there in Milwaukee. They're going to be thin. They already lost Javon Carter. They lost Joe Ingles. We'll see how they go about replacing some of these guys. But holistically, they're in a spot now where at least they were able to keep their most important defensive piece in Brook Lopez. So, and Pat Bev is going to Philadelphia, not staying, but going to Philadelphia. Jack says, unlike Portland, Milwaukee's know what they're doing. GM just re-upped Chris Middleton. Yeah, he did keep Middleton. Expectation, reality. Probably talking about the Houston Rockets. They're probably going to end up with Rolo instead of Brook Lowe. Josh here says Bucks kept 2 key pieces in Middleton and Lopez. I'm just interested to see how it goes. Big John says, I was hoping he went to us in the Rockets. Would have been perfect. We wanted him in Houston, says Detlef. How much for Pat Bev do I think? Cheap. My guess is it's not going to be that much money. Bucks retain their 2 cornerstones, Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton. I don't know if I call them cornerstones. I think that the cornerstone is Giannis. That's maybe not what I would call him. Nice. And here we are. Right, like just what I was worried about. Love that. Love that for me. Ah, man. Okay. That's a bummer. So, I think Sixers decline. I mean, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, Pat Bev, I think he'll get a decent number. And sorry, you're rate limited. That's so annoying. I don't even understand. What's the point of that? Well, we're gonna find a workaround to this. I'll probably sign into a couple burners today. So you'll get to see some utility sports burners. Either that or maybe I'll sign into my personal. But we're gonna make it work. I'm not really worried about it. So ultimately, we do have. God, that's so dumb. Can someone tag me in the Brook Lopez thing? Because I think if I get tagged, I might be able to see it. So try tagging me in the deal. Try tagging me in the Brook Lopez one so I can get it pulled up on stream. He's trying to get people to buy Twitter Blue. He might be, honestly. He's probably trying to make some money today. Will the trade happen today for Dame? Maybe today. I would say maybe. I don't know. Zach says, I scored on Jaren Jackson in an open gym in high school. Glad he won Depoy just for the story. That's I like that, Zach. I like that. You got to flex that now. Here we go. So now I got the deal pulled up now. Thanks, Zay, for tagging me in that. So we got it here. Brook Lopez is returning to the Bucks on a 2-year, $48 million deal per Shams Charania. So I guess the one thing too, it looks like if you guys tag me, I can still pull stuff up. So That's going to be our little workaround today for the stream. Keep tagging me, and we can get stuff up on the stream. 76ers got Pat Bev. Anthony here says, you think Beasley and Bamba resign with the Lakers for cheap? I could see Beasley. I don't know if I see Bamba, given the fact that they signed Jackson Hayes. That's a good question, Anthony. I'm interested to see where Malik Beasley goes. Patrick Beverly has agreed to a 1-year deal with the 76ers. I'm guessing not a lot of money. Guessing pretty cheap. The rate limit is just a glitch. Yeah, look at that. We're working around the rate limit. Hashtag screw the rate limit. Let's get that out there. Let's tweet that right now. We're going to tweet. Hashtag workaround. There we go. We're set up. We fleeced the system, guys. We fleeced the system. Screw the rate limit. Big John says, what's next for the Rockets now that they missed Lopez? They still need a center. And yeah, that's the thing. Jakob Poeltl's off the market too. So from the center spot, with guys who are out there, I'm going to go ahead and look at some of the free agents, and we're going to talk through some of the options here for Houston. There's not a lot of good options, though. I think, Kevin Love stayed in Miami, right? Thomas Bryant signed. DeAndre Jordan, Drew Eubanks all signed. Chimezie Metu. So, you're looking at Christian Wood, Dwight Powell maybe makes some sense. Maybe the Rockets themselves bring in Mo Bamba, which is I don't know if I love that. 1 year, $3.2 million for Pat Bev. So, I was expecting, not a lot of money. It's a lot of money to me. It's not a lot of money to NBA players, though. Robin Lopez, Bismack Biyombo. I don't know. Maybe Jock Landale. Don't know if I really love it, though. Don't know if I love it. Frank White says, do you think the Clippers have a chance of getting Dame Lillard? A small one, but probably not. Frank, probably not. The GOAT says, what should the Rockets do now? The Rockets should prioritize probably Dylan Brooks, I would say. Christian Wood going back is not going to happen for Houston. I just can't see that. Spicy Sriracha wants to know, can Shake Milton, playmaker, at least throw a lob? He's really inconsistent as a playmaker, so I wouldn't count on it. He has moments. He has moments, but I don't know. Wouldn't count it. View says, so disappointed Rockets didn't get Lopez, man. It's a bummer for them. What's next for the Rockets? Danny Lewis says, I think they're going to push for Dylan Brooks. Verk here says, thoughts on Omer Yurtseven. Why doesn't he get minutes? Just defensively, he's not super mobile. Hugh says, by the way, I hate this new Twitter update. I don't think it's going to be something that stays. I think it's a one-day thing, honestly, which just happens to suck because it's during free agency. Josh says, thoughts on Harden to the Clippers. I like that. I think it's going to be what happens. RPR Lucid says, Rockets 9 seed next year. Probably not. I think they're still a little bit lower. If you just look at the West, it's really, really competitive. It's hard to see them do that. Sriracha wants to know my next move for the Mavs. They're another team that I could see pushing for Dylan Brooks. Otherwise, outside of that, a re-sign of Dwight Powell and or Christian Wood makes some sense to me. Otherwise, you could see them do something around the contract of a guy like maybe Mo Bamba for cheap, or if they can go and get Torrey Craig and convince him to come, even though I think he'll ultimately be back in Phoenix. I could see it. Matisse Thybulle would be an interesting guy to push for Dallas. That's what I could see. Sal York says alert. I'm not sure what the alert's for. Spurs and Houston have cap space. Yes, they do. Zach says, I love the Woj Haynes report saying per sources when Pat Bev literally tweeted it. Yeah, I don't understand why they don't just give him some credit there. He's the one who reported his own news. Good for him. Cerberus says, where does Russ go? Russ goes to either the Chicago Bulls or he stays with the LA Clippers, I think. Oh, Soul said that was an accident. No worries. You're chilling. Soul. 76ers, is Pat Bev a better fit than Shake? Yes, I 100% believe so. They needed someone who gives a little bit more defensive edge, I think. And the thing is about getting Pat Bev is it means that the Celtics don't get Pat Bev, which I think also benefits Philadelphia here a little bit. Nedge says THJ for a sign-and trade for Grant Williams. I don't know why the Celtics would do that, Nedge, to be honest. I just can't see that. Marie says, so Dame and Bucks couldn't work. No, that's just not going to happen. Manjit says, can anyone tell me when he reacted to D'Lo signing? Here, I'll just do it live right now. D'Lo signing pretty good. 2 years, they didn't lock themselves into a long-term thing. Pretty fair year value at $18 million or so, $19 million. It's like kind of what I would have expected him to sign for. He was trying to search for emojis. Makes sense. Braden here says Kings top 4 seed in the West again. Sasha's a huge pickup. He is. Vezenkov makes them a lot better. The thing is, like, I don't know if I can say locked into a top 4 seed, but I think they'll be a playoff team again, which is good. That's what you want to be if you're Sacramento. Cole says Mavs are looking to trade for a center and sign a wing with mid-level. Grant Williams, Dylan Brooks mentioned, per Mark Stein, Jake Fisher. Here's the thing about Grant Williams. If you give him the mid-level exception, Boston will say thank you very much for giving him that deal, and we'll match it. So I just don't. At the end of the day, Grant Williams will probably not play for the Dallas Mavericks next season, is my guess. They'd have to move some stuff around to make it work. Jaden Holmes says, I'm near praying Wood goes to Lakers. For a minimum, just to F the league. Wood's a good player. Wood's very underrated around the league, in my opinion. Spicy says, will Reeves get underpaid since many teams don't have money to spend? Well, the Rockets still have money to spend, and so do other teams like the Spurs. And the thing is, Reeves' first 2 years of his contract, because of the Gilbert Arenas provision, he has to sign for $12 million a year anyway, the first 2 years, but then the last couple of years can be $30+ million. So technically a team right now with $13 million in cap space could sign Austin Reeves. So a lot of teams still have enough money to afford Reeves. So there's still some pressure on the Lakers here at this point. Vago says, what can even the Blazers expect what can the Blazers even expect in exchange for Damian Lillard? A bunch of picks, good young player or two. It's probably what you're looking at. Daniel Lewis says, I hope Knicks get Dante DiVincenzo. That would be my guess for that. Anthony says, do you see Jalen McDaniels going to the Nuggets after losing Bruce Brown? McDaniels to the Nuggets would be good. I'd like that, Anthony, as a potential move. Jalen McDaniels, I would also like to see him in Minnesota if possible. If possible, because his brother Jaden plays for the team. So I would like to see Jalen there as well. Josh says, thoughts on the Clippers asking for Brogdon again. That's not going to happen. I don't think the Clippers have interest in Brogdon ultimately. RPR Lucid said, who can the Bucks get? You're looking mostly at minimum players. So they're going to have to find cheap contracts. Like a guy like Lindy Waters would maybe be a nice get for them, honestly. Watts wants to know what the Gilbert Arenas exemption is. I haven't heard of that. So it's, in a lot of other words, it's called the poison pill too. It's like part of the poison pill provision. It's it's typically for second round picks. And this is what happened with Gilbert Arenas. He was a second round pick by the Golden State Warriors, ended up playing really, really well, exceeded the expectation of what you normally get with a second round pick. Because he was a second rounder, he did not have a standard 4-year rookie contract that you get for a first round player. So he went to restricted free agency as a goal, like before his third year in the league for the Warriors. The Wizards then came in and offered him $11 million a year, which at that time was nearly a max contract. It would be like if someone offered Austin Reeves right now, like $33 million type of deal a year. That's what the Wizards offered Gilbert Arenas. Came in, the Warriors couldn't really afford to match it. They lost him. And because of that, the NBA made a rule. It's called the poison pill. So then like future contracts like that become basically impossible to trade in the poison pill provision. I keep trying to say that. I keep stumbling on my words. But it's because of Gilbert Arenas leaving the Warriors for the Wizards. And since Austin Reeves has only been in the league for 2 years as an undrafted, he fits this situation where now with the new rule, the player can only sign for at max the average player salary in the NBA, which is $12 million. So we'll see him sign for $12 million a year the first 2 years to get him through those first 4 years of his career. But then after that, he can sign for up to a normal max. So the first year would be like $12 million. The second year would be $12 million. So the first 2 years are 2 for 24. But then the back 2 years could be up to 2 years for 60, which would make his overall deal like 4 years 84, 4 years 90-ish, depending on what those final numbers end up coming out to. Watts. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully I explained that well. The fouls from the McDaniels bros and Cat will make me heated. They will. But you got to love Jaden, though. Jaden is so good. Zach Aldridge says DiVincenzo times Hart would be an elite short guy offensive rebounding dude. They would lead the league in corner rebounds, like just crashing in from the offensive corner. My goodness. Embiid will not be happy that the Sixers traded the neighborhood. Could see himself out next year. Yeah, possibly. I talked about that. Zach will know. Zach, I floated to Zach quite a while ago the idea of the Knicks being in line to trade for Joel Embiid at some point. I've been talking about this for a very long time. That's a possibility. Jack says to make Lakers pay more and limit how competitive they are. I'm not exactly sure what that's even about. Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a load of picks. Does Miles Bridges find a team? What the hell are the Hornets even doing in free agency? The Hornets are just waiting for other teams to spend all their money to give Bridges a cheap contract. It's actually pretty smart because no team's going to offer Bridges right now since he's restricted anyway. Like they're waiting for teams to offer up their money, and then they know exactly how much they have to offer Bridges to get him. Lights Camera says Claxton, DFS, and a load of picks for Dame is a fair trade. Yeah, but the Nets, if you're trading for Damian Lillard, you don't want to give up Claxton, Dorian Finney-Smith. You want to give up non-contributors. So Dame's backup, says Leon in Philadelphia. Pizza here says, I think that Dame will go to Miami. And me personally, I think that they aim to get rid of their players and really push for Dame. Iconoclasm here says, what would a Dame Nurk for Claxton plus picks plus filler likely look like? I just don't. I think that if the Nets are making the trade, there's no Nurk, there's no Claxton. Claxton's not going to be a part of it. The Nets look at Claxton and Bridges as their two build-around players. So we're not going to see any type of deal like that. If there's one to the Nets with those two guys, let's go over here now. I want to leave that one up. Let's go toggle through and let's go do this one. This one's fine to kill. This one's to the Knicks. I don't care about this one. That one's not going to happen. So let's get rid of the Knicks and let's go to the other New York team, the Nets. And we're going to do Simmons to the Blazers. And we're going to have, where the heck is Dame? Dame to the Nets with Nurkic to the Nets. So we have to make up a pretty good deal of money. Oh, well, coincidentally, Spencer Dinwiddie could help us get there if we need to, which is what we're going to do. We're going to find a team number 3. Who wants Spencer Dinwiddie for the cheap? Oh, Toronto. Why not? No. Do we want to do Toronto? I could see it. I don't know. I don't know if I love that. We're not going to do Dinwiddie to Toronto. Let's do Dinwiddie to. Oh, here. This is what we need to do. We're going to dump Dinwiddie into space here for the Spurs. Makes total sense. Spurs probably just throw a second rounder into this to the Blazers. They get Dinwiddie for basically free. Fits their team, fits what they need right now. Gets them a good player who can put up shots, whatever. And then what we're going to do from this is we're also going to include Cam Thomas to the Blazers. We're going to include Day'Ron Sharpe to the Blazers. And you look at the money, look at how perfect that is. Works out really, really darn good. And then we load up with picks. We're going to trade 2025 Phoenix. We're going to trade 2027 Phoenix. We're going to trade 2027 Philly. We're going to trade 2028 Phoenix. And we're going to trade 2029 Dallas. It's 5 first-round picks. Let's maybe throw in one more. Let's throw in 2029 Phoenix just because we're including Simmons in this. Something like this. I like it. What do you guys think? What's your guys' thoughts on this? Do I not even have it shared? Oh, no, I do have it shared. Okay, good. For a second, I freaked out that I didn't have it shared with you guys, but I did. Huge Woj bomb? It's not a huge Woj bomb. You scared me here. Trevor Hudgens has signed a qualifying offer and will remain on a 2-way contract with the Houston Rockets. So not a big, huge Woj bomb. Danielle says, damn, it's been a minute and you still streaming, much respect. Nobody will take Simmons. They will to make the money work here, Jack. That's the thing. This isn't like, we want Simmons. This is, you're giving us a crap ton of picks in this. They're getting, 6 first-rounders? I mean, that's a pretty significant offer, honestly. Pretty significant offer. Pretty significant for sure. Who says no? I'm tweeting this out right now because I want to share this one. 3-team trade. Who says no between these 3 teams? I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say about this situation. Who says no? What's going to go on here? Hey, Trevor Hudgens is a great player. That's just definitely not a big one. Mr. Awesome wants to know, how do you justify 6 first-round picks for Lillard? You justify it because you're getting off of Simmons. You'd probably have to give up a first or 2 to get off of Simmons anyway. And the way you justify it here, if you're Brooklyn, is Simmons doesn't play for us. Our head coach doesn't like Cam Thomas. Day'Ron Sharpe's not a contributor. Spencer Dinwiddie, we are upgrading from Spencer Dinwiddie into Damian Lillard, and we're addressing our biggest flaw in rebounding with Nurkic, who averaged 9 a game last year. Like that's how you rationalize it. Like you're going into next season with Yusuf Nurkic as a backup big man behind Nick Claxton, which works very, very well in my opinion. You have Damian Lillard as your starting point guard. You've got a variety of talent around him. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal. You've got the defensive capabilities to probably build a good defense around Damian Lillard for the first time in his career. And no, I cannot construct the Dame to the Bucks deal because it's not really possible with their situation. Like, here's the thing, Mr. Awesome. Claxton is a good rebounder. I do agree, but the team overall needs another rebounder. So, like, and Jacques Vaughn talked about it like 100 times last year. That's all he mentioned was rebounding. We don't rebound the ball. We don't rebound the ball. Like, listen, Claxton's not going anywhere. Claxton's the starting center for Brooklyn in this deal. To me, like, it's about Nurkic being a backup big, playing 20 minutes a game and giving them some, like, real good stability at that spot. JT Lewis says they would probably switch Simmons for Dorian. I think it would make the deal a lot sweeter. The money doesn't work there, though. JT. So the Nets would have to basically scrap their rotation if they do it. Carlos says, Sheldon, what I also don't understand is why did the Blazers waive a very good up-and-coming, hard-working front-court player in Trendon Watford who's only making $1.8 million? Makes no sense. Yeah, I don't understand. I never understood that deal. It's not like it really freed up that much money for them. Kind of a head-scratcher, honestly. Maurice here says, Hero to the Spurs works well. That's also another option, too. Hero to San Antonio does make some sense. I like this framework for San Antonio. They get Dinwiddie for a second-round pick. Works like really well. They just, eat up their cap space on a short-term deal. This is like perfect for San Antonio here too if they can do this. This works out very well for Brooklyn and Portland. For some reason, it says Portland shaves off. Well, that's because they actually do shave off $20 million, which is also good for them. With the new Grant deal, you give yourself a lot of flexibility. You open up a $20 million trade exception. It's actually pretty good. The Spurs take in $20 million, but ultimately, I think this is something that makes some sense across the board here. What Willie wants to know what's going on with Twitter. It's rate limits, so they have a new thing today on Twitter about how many tweets you can view, which doesn't make any sense. Shane says here because Twitter's acting up. Well, welcome to the stream, Shane. Really appreciate you. Danny Lewis says Indiana Pacers are a playoff team. I hope so. We'll see what happens. They should be. Reseller Gaming says no. Brook Lopez, he goes to the Bucks. Yes, Brook Lopez is back in Milwaukee. Sam here says I could definitely see the Nets making a deal after getting Dame for another high-level player. Like, that's the thing is they still have other assets to trade too. That's another important piece of this is like they could go out with some of those other contracts like Dorian and Royce O'Neal and make some other trade if they think there's also if they think there's one out there for them. Dylan Brooks would be good for the Suns. I just don't know if I see that actually happening. I'd be pretty surprised by that. Yeah, Bucks re-sign Brook Lopez. Isaac here says, yo, did you already talk about the Clips and Harden maybe being a thing? Yes, I did. I will share what a potential deal could look like around that. Real quick, it's going to be the 3-team. Let's actually share the 4-team variety because I think this one has some legitimacy to it as well. Blazers get all the stuff. Heat gets Dame Lillard, Robert Covington. Sixers get Hero, Powell. And the Clippers get James Harden. Pretty solid overall foundation of a deal, I think. So Brook Lopez will not be a Rocket. He is signed. And we have a trade. Oh, my gosh. What a fleecing. What a fleecing for Indiana. Holy cow. Let's get over to Twitter right now. Oh, my gosh. You guys might have to tag me in it here. Nope, it's working. Here it is. Knicks are finalizing a trade to send Obi Toppin to the Pacers for 2 future second-round picks. Deal gives Toppin an opportunity to play a more significant role in Indiana and stacks up more draft assets for New York. Deal can't be completed until Tuesday. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Obi Toppin is a Pacer. Wow. What a move. What a move. Obi Toppin to the Indiana Pacers. I really, really like that for Indiana specifically. This is a home run for them. I like this move a lot for that organization. And they take a stab on a young player, fit him into cap space. The Knicks do open up a small trade exception here. Not that that's really going to matter too much for them, I don't believe. But holistically, it's a very compelling situation that we've seen play out here now. I'm going to update the thumbnail here quick as the Indiana Pacers trade for Obi Toppin. Pretty crazy turn of events. Wow, just not what I was expecting here, but ultimately that is what we've seen now happen. I'm gonna go update the stream here quickly. I'm gonna give my live reaction to this in just a second. Pacers, Obi Toppin trade. I know Patrick is smiling right now. Patrick's got to be so happy. Obi Toppin, Pacers, Knicks. This is really, really good for the Indiana Pacers. I like this a lot for them. Really, really good situation for the Pacers, who they've got to be very happy with how this whole thing has played out, honestly. Landing Obi Toppin, that's a really, really good deal for them. To give up not even a first-round pick to get Obi Toppin, a former lottery selection, I think this is really good. The Pacers keep getting better as a transition team. Wow, this is really good. Obi Toppin trade. Just updating the video right now real quick. So just give me half a second here. Just making some updates as we go. So really excited for this. The Indiana Pacers. Wow. Want to get that in the description as well. Indiana Pacers. Welcome everyone to the stream. Trade for Obi Toppin. Wow, what a crazy move. Obi Toppin is an Indiana Pacer. And I really love this for Indiana. I don't love it as much for the New York Knicks, but it might be pointing us to the possibility of the Knicks making a bigger deal a little bit later on. Toppin wasn't playing a very big role. Zach says Patrick might be sexy. It kills any chance there was of Kuminga to Indy. But listen, Obi Toppin, for this price, you can't be mad. You cannot be mad at all. Knicks passed on Hallie for Toppin in the draft. And now it's funny, the Pacers have been just collecting all of the guys from that draft. They have Halliburton, they have Jalen Smith, who was drafted right before Hallie. They have Obi Toppin, who was drafted before those two. So pretty crazy. They've just been collecting everybody. Hornets are strongly considering an offer sheet to Grant Williams. And we also have news from Adrian Woj, or from Shams Charania as well now. We have news about Shams Charania from Shams Charania that I need to pull up on the stream too. Pretty important one. Austin Reeves has agreed to return to the Los Angeles Lakers on a 4-year, $56 million early bird max contract. Agents Aaron Riley and Reggie Berry of AMR Agency negotiated a new deal to keep Reeves in LA long term. Good offseason and retention for the LA Lakers. I've liked 90% of their moves thus far. They've done a lot of good stuff so far, the Lakers have. So the Lakers, I think, have made some really good decisions. Shams Charania, of course, reporting that here now. Toppin, really, really like that. Obi cried being drafted to New York. Amazing to see the new front office currency of second-round picks. Second-round picks are pretty valuable. Sam wants to know, does Jarrett start over Toppin? Who knows? Maybe they both start. Probably not. I think Jarrett's, with Rick Carlisle, probably doesn't start just because he doesn't like to start rookies. Didn't start Mathurin too much. Yeah, they did. They signed Jacob Toppin, didn't they? That's crazy. You're right about that, Zach. He did really, really want Kuminga. Yes. Pacers have depth in the front court now. I like Obi quite a bit for Indiana. I think he gives them something they didn't have, which is like a really freak athlete. Solid for LA. I think they did a very good job on this. Really great price. for them. I think the Lakers had a good offseason for the most part. Yeah, like here's the thing. He got less than Rui Hachimura, which I would have guessed would get less than D'Lo because D'Lo's kind of the name brand guy. They overpaid Rui, but otherwise they've had a really, really good offseason. I've liked everything they did, and even overpaying Rui is not that bad. Like it is what it is. Like probably less tradable at 17 than he would have been at like 12. But František says, as a Spurs fan, thank God he didn't want that Reeves went from a two-way contract to a standard minimum contract in 2021 NBA training camp, and now less than 2 years later cashes on the maximum allowable salary from the Lakers. Zach says we have too much depth on the roster. Really need a consolidation deal, in my opinion. Either that or they just need to only play the right guys. Let's pull up the Pacers roster here. Here's the guys that I think are worth playing for them. So obviously Halliburton, Bruce Brown. They already traded Duarte. Buddy Hield's worth playing. I think Isaiah Jackson's worth playing as the backup center behind Miles Turner. Jarris Walker is worth playing. Nwora can play a bit. Nesmith, I'm a little bit less on Nesmith, but it is what it is. McConnell can definitely play. Nembhard can play, and Obi can play. Like what I named, like 10 guys. That's about right for a regular season rotation. And Mathurin, of course. I didn't name Mathurin. Mathurin needs to play. Mathurin should start. So I don't know. Maybe they have like one too many guys, but like for me, I would just probably squeeze like one of Nesmith or Nwora. I guess I don't know. Like a consolidation deal would help, but right now it's like you go into the market like that's where you'd have to match the money of like Jalen Smith plus Nwora plus Nesmith to get to like Obi, and you'd have to throw or not to get to Obi to get to OG, and you'd have to throw picks in there. That's like your consolidation type of deal maybe. Jack here says Williams going to be a Hornet, replacing Oubre probably. We'll see. It depends. Boston can still match, but I think that's going to be a tough decision for them because they'll get to the apron pretty quickly by matching. So we'll see what happens with that. I think they have some decisions to make for sure, but it'll be fascinating to see what ultimately happens with these organizations going forward. I think there's a lot of questions about what this could potentially look like. So we'll see. But Obi Toppin, I like it a lot Daniel Tice, I mean, you don't have to play Daniel Tice. I just don't care about Jalen Smith. Like, just play the guys that should play. I think Obi Toppin's one of those guys. He should definitely play. I'm a Dog Garcia says, me as a Knicks fan, wish Obi all the best in Indiana. Unfortunately, we can give him the space he needed. Thank you, Obi. Once a Knick, always a Knick. And this is exactly right. Like, Julius Randle just fully blocked him the entire time. Like, it's a bummer because I think everyone agrees Obi Toppin's like got a pretty good skill set, probably could be a pretty solid player. Knicks freeing up a roster spot, and they're also opening up a little bit more financial flexibility. So I think that's something to watch for. Zach says Nesmith has to play. Oh, man, I don't know. I think I'm just a little bit lower on Nesmith. I liked him coming out of Vanderbilt, but I don't know. Like for me, I just would strongly prefer some of the other guys. I really strongly prefer Obi, and I prefer some of the other pieces. I think getting rid of Duarte was really the right decision, though. I never really loved Duarte, so every time I hear a phone buzz, I think it's going to be a Woj bomb. A lot of the time it is. This time it was the Buffalo Sabres tweeting because I have notifications on for them for some reason. So I'm not exactly sure why. View says, what you think if Rockets bring back Clint Capella? You think it's realistic? Probably not. Yeah, phone buzz is like an NBA transaction. Yeah, for the most part, it has been. Reseller wants to know, so buy Delonte Walker for the Lakers? Probably. 4-year $56 million early bird max contract, which includes a player option in year 4 for Reeves. So definitely a very good contract for him. Oubre on a mint to Phoenix, heard it here first. I definitely do think that's a possibility. I would not rule out not necessarily a min, but Oubre to Phoenix is a possibility, I would say. Cole here says, I think the Mavs will trade Tim Hardaway Jr. now. I think they signed Seth to replace him in the rotation as a sharpshooter. We'll see what happens. Mavs man says, Ella, just when you were saying you might end the stream, I know. Like, literally, You can't make it up. It never ever stops. Danny Lewis says D'Lo, Austin, and Rui back to the Lakers. They gotta feel pretty good about it. Anna here says Miami update. Nothing yet. I think we're just waiting on Dame news, which we'll see if anything breaks or not. The moment I say I'm going to end the stream, the moment I hit end, I swear to God, he's going to get traded. That's just how it works. Kenneth Jenkins says, what do you think about OKC getting Micic along with Chet coming back from Case and Wallace, Davis Bertans and Oladipo in this offseason? Bertans might actually play a little bit for them more than people are expecting, kind of in somewhat of the Saric role and the Muscala role a little bit. Oladipo obviously won't play at all. He's injured. He's going to miss the entire season probably, but Micic can play and Chet can really play. So I think this is really strong for them. Case and Wallace is a really great pick for them too. The Thunder are loaded. Thunder are really, really good talent. Evan says, what do you think the Sixers do next after signing Patrick Beverley? They're just focused on executing a James Harden trade. So that's what we're looking at for them. They're just going to be focused on keeping most of their guys and facilitating some type of Harden trade that makes sense for the organization. Sam says, I don't think it's for sure Lonnie's gone. I think we can sign him for about $8 million. I don't think he's going to get that much, to be honest. I would be surprised if Lonnie Walker gets $8 million. Maurice says Bulls have been too quiet. Yeah, it's because they don't really have a lot of flexibility. This guy says, really wish Portland would just start the rebuild. The sooner the better. Scoot Sharp and a bevy of assets from a Dame trade is an excellent start. The nice thing is they're starting it pretty soon. So Zach says Neesmith just so consistently made the right play for us last year, and his defense was so key. Also, his connected passing with his shooting is really underrated. So that's the thing is he is. I mean, that's his primary skill. The thing he came into the league knowing everyone knew he was going to be able to do is shoot the ball. And I do think he's improved significantly. Boston never really gave him a fair shake. I don't know. It's just hard for me because when you look at Indiana's roster, I haven't even named Ben Shepherd. Oh my God. Oh man. The Pacers have 13 good players, which is a good thing, but it's not a great thing. It's probably going to be but Nora was pretty good down the stretch of the year for them too. Shoot. Okay, let's think about it. So Halliburton plays 35 minutes a game at point guard, probably 30 to 35. And we have more news from Shams Charania. This one took a little bit longer to finalize, but let's get over to Twitter right now. More breaking news from Shams. Let's refresh on his Twitter page. Just in, Charlotte Hornets All-Star Lamelo Ball is finalizing a 5-year designated maximum rookie contract extension that's worth up to $260 million. This is the equivalent to what Tyrese Halliburton just signed last night with the Portland Trail Blazers. Micic is a player from the EuroLeague MVP in, I believe, 2021. Good player. Very good player. Obi and Tyrese are good friends. Still not sure on the Bane contract, though. Bane's good to pay. He's good. Rudy the Boxer sent in a message that he meant to text his wife. I like that. I'll allow it. That's hilarious. LaMelo got his bag. Here's a question. I knew it was going to come up. I was thinking about asking it. Who would you rather build around, Halliburton or LaMelo? My answer would be the guy whose name starts with a T. Not the other one. Which is, I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I think, Halliburton's just improved so significantly every year. It's hard to not say him. Reasons why they were never going to draft Scoot. No, that doesn't make any sense, Sean. Scoot Henderson does things that LaMelo Ball doesn't do, which is get to the paint, finish at the rim, kick out off of drives. LaMelo Ball doesn't get paint touches like Scoot Henderson does. So it's Halliburton went to the Trailblazers. Halliburton easily. Rich said Melo's not a winning player. Now here's the thing. I would slow down on that. Listen to this. LaMelo Ball has been playing with the Hornets. Okay, that team is not that good, and they've made it to the playing game twice in 3 years. Let's slow down on that. LaMelo was injured this past year. I'm not going to say LaMelo is not a winning player. I think LaMelo is very good, but I just have a slight preference toward Tyrese. But Like I don't think that this is a fair thing at all. How many players would go to Charlotte and win with the team that they've had? Amadog Garcia says D'Lo earning more than Reeves is triggering me. Nobody wanted D'Lo. Could have gone for cheap. Someone would have got him. Leah said, "How is your Twitter working?" It's because I'm a big streaming agency, and Elon Musk knows me personally, so he's definitely pushing it through. Zach says I'm biased, but it shouldn't be a hot take at all. I think like part of why it's not considered a hot take probably right now is because Melo missed most of the year and Halliburton had his best year yet. So like I think if LaMelo's healthy and if he has like Buddy Hield and Miles Turner around him, probably looks a little bit different. Like if the two of them swap teams, I think that you're getting similar production out of LaMelo that way you got out of Halliburton. I'm not saying that to hate on Halliburton. You guys know how I feel about Halliburton. I just think LaMelo is still a very, 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 very good player. Very good player. AJ Analysis says, I really do like Pat Bev to the Sixers. I do too. Snagarette said, Melo's not a great leader compared to Halliburton. I mean, yeah, you can have those, thoughts and reasons, but Sam says, I have a video idea for after the offseason. You put the players that teams got and players that they lost, basically getting traded for each other and say, would make that trade before the offseason. That's an interesting idea, Sam. Maybe we'll look into that. John said, Dame didn't deserve the dismemberment of his 2019 Western Conference Finals team. Remember Dame's goodbye waves. Jodian is solely to blame for Dame's departure. We all want her to sell Phil Knight. John, the Blazers fan. Peyton here says, Kings still have money. What are they going to do? Use it to, they're already using some of the room exception to get Vezenkov in. And then outside of that, the Kings are going to use that money to renegotiate and extend Sabonis. Nedge says Austin and Sheldon have the connections. Today, the United States team lost to the French team in the U19 Basketball World Cup. Is that true? I haven't kept up with that as closely as I should, honestly. I have been keeping up with it, but not as closely as I should. So, Reeves' new deal has a 15% trade kicker and the maximum advance allowable. Very interesting. Central Powers Production non-verified users on Twitter are now limited to the amount of posts they can see. Y'all mock trades got the Clippers going into the season with 6 players. The nice thing is like most of the players that they were trading don't play for them already. Like Preston and BJ Boston barely play. Zach says, I hate that Miller isn't a winning player argument. He just doesn't shoot better, pass better, or generate anywhere near the rim pressure. Like, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, like here's the thing. Like, I think that too, if you had Buddy Hield and Miles Turner around LaMelo, and like you can maybe point to some of the coaching LaMelo's had of like, I don't think LaMelo's had the structure of a Rick Carlisle there, which, that contributes to what LaMelo actually goes on and does on the court. Like if he has a coach who's telling him, look, you got to get paint touches. Like if I was coaching, I'd tell LaMelo, look, the more times you get into the paint, the better for our overall team. And that would probably impact how LaMelo's like going about playing. I don't think Steve Clifford was the right coach in any sense of the fashion. Sport and Game here says LaMelo for $260 million for 5 years. What's his achievement? You don't give contracts based on what a player has achieved. You give contracts based on what you think a player will achieve. And I would be surprised if LaMelo Ball is not an all-star level player throughout the 5 years of that contract. So he's worth the money. Not enough people are talking about the crazy overpay that the Magic gave Joe Ingles. He fits them, and it's for the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. It doesn't matter if he's overpaid or not. Sport and Game says Grant Williams is going to Dallas ASAP, and they need to trade for a center between Valanciunas or Clint Capella. We'll see what happens on that. Sam wants to know what moves should the Mavs make. They're going to look at the mid-level exceptions, what they have left to spend. That's what they're going to look to use and work with. We'll see if ultimately something gets done or not, but it'll be interesting to watch for sure. I'm very, very intrigued to see how everything kind of plays out. So streaming's been fun so far today. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel for more here at Utility Sports. Would love to have you guys. I'm going to send in the link to the channel. Again, click this link and hit subscribe on there if you aren't already. And then also I'm going to send in a couple of other things here. What I want to send in is, let's go to our profile here at Utility Sports. I want you guys to go give us a follow on Twitter. And what I want you to do is turn on tweet notifications on there as well. That way you're not missing out on anything. And then on top of that, just because you guys are super awesome and because you guys are the actual best, I'm going to hit this here. I'm going to post this one. Go give me a follow on my personal Twitter as well. You'll see some of the stuff that I do. High school basketball coach, hoops enthusiast, work in television a bit, do a lot of different stuff. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for everything here at this point. Shout out to Zach for the follow over on Twitter. Really appreciate that, Zach. Huge appreciation. Love that tweet from Dalton there. That's a great tweet, Dalton. Like that. Very, very happy about what the Pacers have done today. I would say Pacers getting Obi Toppin is very, very, very good. Very happy about that for them. Can PJ fit into the big Sixers, Clippers, Blazers trade you brought up? Possibly, but I don't think he will. I think he'll stay in Philly. Five God says, I just hope that they do the Woj trade, which was Marcus, Nico, Amir Coffey, and some picks. I'll do that fast. Danny Lewis says, will Dame trade for Miami Heat or Philadelphia 76ers? I think it's going to be one of the two, or Brooklyn. Those are really the three teams that make the most sense. Again, make sure you guys subscribe to Utility Sports. I'm going to take a streaming break here for a little while. If a Dame trade does come to fruition, we will stream that. So real quickly, what I want you guys to do, let's go over here. You guys can see my screen, right? Let's go to channel. Okay. You guys got to hit this subscribe button right here. That's probably right here for you. For some reason, nice. That didn't work. Let's change that. Let's switch to a different screen. I didn't know that I was going to do that like that. Right here. You guys got to hit that subscribe button. That's right here on the channel. Okay. Go subscribe. Be a part of what we do here at Utility Sports. You guys are going to want to be doing what we're doing here. You're going to want to be a part of everything that we got going on here at Utility Sports. We're going to go live on the channel, turn on the notification bell as well for more. And here's Zach saying what we've got. So Hallie plays 36, Matherin plays 36, Brown plays 26, Buddy plays 26, Nem. It's interesting. Yeah, like that you run into the issues with Isaiah Jackson and Sticks and Shepard. I don't know. It's a tough situation, honestly. I don't know. It's gonna be a thing that they have to solve. John, thank you for the 5. Really do appreciate that. We are going to be slowing down the stream here. Impressed that you're back at it. Hate the T-Wolves lost Prince for Brown. Makes 0 sense to me. Love that they kept Alexander Walker. Shake Milton has a cool name. What else is up? Not much out of Minnesota yet so far, John. I really do appreciate your support. John with the W. Let's get some hype in here for John. I really appreciate him. Why does YouTube have the most clickbait NBA news, by the way? I don't know. Hopefully you guys don't think that anything I do here is clickbait. I try to keep it as realistic as possible with, titles that fit and everything. So I hopefully you guys don't think I'm ever clickbaiting. I try really hard to avoid doing that. Really appreciate each and every one of you guys so much. Do you like the offer that the Lakers gave Reeves? Love it. Very good offer. Lakers did a great job, Anthony. It's a phenomenal deal. They've had a very good offseason so far, I would say. They've done a lot of good things. I love all the John hype in here. Let's get more John hype quick before we wrap up the stream. Huge thank you again, everyone here. Again, go make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like what you've seen in this video, in this live stream so far. Portland will not cancel the Jeremy Grant contract. I love the Mavs signing Seth Curry. Yeah, no worries, Zach. I was like trying to read it. It was like kind of the spacing was tough, but I kind of got the overall stitch on it. So appreciate everyone that's been in here today. Again, subscribe to the channel for more. And we'll catch you guys in the very next Utility Sports video.